Yeah, my stomach just started acting up.
Just do it. Just poop your pants. Do it. Do it. Do
What the
it.
fuck is happening? God, awful timing.
Just come on, let it go. Come on.
I will not let it go. I will never let it go.
Just poop your pants. Dude, I can see you have an arm up and you're like leaning to take pressure off. You need to go take a shit. Let's just go back to the BRB screen and you take a shit.
No. I'm fine. It's actually more like just like stomach pain.
Oh no, that'll lead into having to poop your pants in a couple minutes. Just give it a second.
I did already. I'm fine.
No, there's more. There's always more. That's the bullshit that is being a human being. Is that you eat and drink because your body needs it, and then your body just spits it out that you can put more in.
Can we bring something? Can we bring something else to the people at the start of this episode? Or
poop your pants?
No. I went twice already. I went when I got up, and then I sat here, and then we started at like 2 minutes past because I went again. So I'm already done.
Yeah. Do you know what that means? The next one's gonna just be all acid.
I don't like that.
You're gonna be firing like Jeff Goldblum acid spit out your ass.
Yeah. No. Listen, I'm not. There's nothing left. There's nothing to go. There's no going.
Dude, that's a lie. Your body makes all sorts of things. You don't know.
It's already gone.
You could find
now it's just doing the noises and the feeling of expansion, but there's nothing left.
You expanding?
Look, I might drink an Enos or something. You know.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Enos. That's it's the fizzy stuff that you drink.
It's like an Alka-Seltzer or something?
Yeah. Like my mom's been giving me that ever since like fucking Grenada. You know, like going way, like ever since I was a kid, I used to get that. But like, yeah, your stomach acts up, you drink some Enos.
Doesn't your mom also tell you to drink just a shitload of activated charcoal too?
Well, so that was one thing for certain stuff, you know, which it was crazy, but it turns out it actually has its applications. And it does work. And her other thing was always cider vinegar and honey, which also turns out
that probably does something.
Do stuff for you. Yeah, like there's
probably does something.
Anything that just like fucks your insides up with some extreme like shit, some extreme like corrosiveness, it's probably going to help in some way.
I got to tell you, as somebody who suffers from migraines quite often, migraine remedy like information might be one of the worst like home remedy like series of things because they're always the same. They're like, well, if you have a migraine, you could hello kitty cat. You could have some caffeine that could dilate your blood vessels and help you feel better. Or it could be the source of your migraine and make it much worse. You could try hot water or a hot compress, and that might make it feel better. Unless that makes it feel much worse, at which point you want to try a cold compress, but you can't do them back to back because then you fuck your shit. It's like it's fucking bullshit.
No, my preferred solution is go back to bed and sit there and hope that in between the pulses you can somehow drift off until it's gone.
That's a good one. And get rid of light. That's the number one.
Fuck all light.
Light is terrible. I hate it. Hey, you know what? You want something new? I have good news for everyone. Legitimately good news for everyone. The Resident Evil 4 HD project. You know, the gentleman redoing the textures in the Resident Evil 4, that mod?
From years and years ago?
It went 1.0 in the last hour.
How about that?
It is done.
That's nice.
And as somebody who has used that HD mod, it is immaculate and incredible. So if you are thinking of RE4 replay, which many of you should be doing at all times of the year, Now would be a good time.
No VR, huh?
Probably not.
Hmm.
It's for the HD release.
Yeah, what'd you do?
What did I do this week? All right, let's use my brain powers to remember. And by brain powers, I mean Twitch's handy dandy video producer function, because I can't remember what weeks are what anymore. I'm fully disconnected from time. I have no reality in which I know what time it is anymore. All right, you know what? Let's start with something easy. Did you ever see like a trailer for a Dark Souls mod called Nightfall?
I don't think so.
No.
What
So
was unique about it?
this one is gotten a little bit more interest out of people because it's a pretend sequel. It's a fan-made sequel to Dark Souls 1 that its big gimmick is that you are running a timer like Majora's Mask,
Okay.
and you'll have to beat like the entire game within a span of like I want to say like a 2-hour period. But
Jesus.
when
Okay.
you keep all of your gear, you keep all your upgrades, and you even keep dead bosses if you decide to
Restart.
not cash them in. But on top of that, it also has a weird function where you can switch to a version of your character that has no healing at all. Like the Estus equivalent doesn't work, but you gain like instantaneous 5-foot super invincible, like better than a Bloodborne dash, and a faster moveset.
Interesting.
And it's really interesting because they're doing all this mod stuff, but also they have like grabbed pieces of the environment and shuffled them in really weird ways. Like you'll turn a doorway and just enter a completely new zone that's in the wrong spot. And like even the exterior skybox will have areas moved around to fit the new congruent like thing.
And it's a remix of Remastered?
Yeah. Demo came out. I beat the demo on the stream yesterday. And it's how do I put this? It's really impressive that they were able to like get any of the stuff working. But at the same time, the whole time you're playing it, you're like, "Oh, this is just trapped in the Dark Souls 1 engine. Like they are making new enemies and they're not good."
Okay. Okay.
And they're making new animations and they're like, "Oh, you tried." And I think the one that stands out to me the most is like there's a hidden puzzle where after you fight the boss that's in Sif's arena, there's a bunch of bones that show up on the ground, and if you kick all the little bones together, it becomes like a new monster that you can ride around on, which is a cool little feature. Except when I was doing it, pieces of the bones would clip through the fucking ground and fall out world. And I was like, oh. So it's like they're trying really hard and it's really ambitious.
Because I mean, it's either that or like, what if we took the Hydra but made it really small and it followed you around?
Yeah,
you know.
It's really ambitious and the idea is really cool, but like, it's extremely jank. It's very obvious why so many of the mods for these games are placement and statistical changes and maybe adding new moves, so you only have to calculate like the effect and the look and then the hitbox on the thing. Like one of the things that really stood out to me is one in the first area, there's like a little scripted scene with enemies like running past you. And it's like, yeah, nav meshes on the floor are really complicated. If you're not familiar, people in the audience, what a nav mesh is, the ground in any particular game is broken up into hundreds of thousands of little geometric trapezoids that represent "go stand here" for NPCs. And they're hard. It's really hard to make good ones. So like the enemies are like running in this highly strict line, and then they see me, and then their aggro kicks in, but then their scripted nav mesh kicks back in, so they turn back to where they were going, but then they kind of wiggle, and it's like
and
yeah. It's like the guy it's made by like a tiny team of like a couple people. And it's very ambitious, and the story idea is cool because you're literally chasing after the chosen undead after they fuck up everything. But it's real jank.
Look, you gotta respect the ambition. I mean, again, you can have that attempt with the fun stuff you've described, or you can have reskin of Dragon Slayer armor number 15. You know, this time it's Havel.
Well,
this time it's whatever.
The basic difference is that there's been a lot of mods for Dark Souls 1 that are of this type. They're incredibly super jank, and then they try and move stuff around to varying degrees of success. Dark Souls 3 got a lot more modifications, and a lot of those are Skyrim type mods where it's like we added 300 new spells, we imported items from other games and made them work on this, stuff like that. The one I played a couple weeks ago called Convergence is probably the most cohesively impressive one. It's just I get this weird emotional state. So like, I'm going to use a different example, but it probably will help the average person understand a little bit better, because I don't know what to describe this feeling. Left 4 Dead came out 35 years ago, right?
Approximately.
Back 4 Blood came out a couple weeks ago, and Back 4 Blood is, in my opinion, a categorically worse game than Left 4 Dead 2. And I was backed up on this when I was playing with a group of people that included like Shy, Roz, DK, the Page, Clems, etc. Right? God, I totally forgot one person in that group, and now I feel super awful. Anyway,
started listing them.
I really shouldn't have. Anyway, and you know, people are talking about like, is it fair to compare the? Oh, Plague, yeah, Plague was there. Anyway, point being, like, is it a new game? Is it fair to compare to Left 4 Dead 2, which had all this time and all this effort and all this money and Valve's resources and Valve's developers, yada, yada, yada? And it's like, at the end of the day, the average person's comparison is that Back 4 Blood costs $70, and Left 4 Dead, I don't know if it even costs money anymore.
They were throwing them at you,
because I don't know a single person who didn't get it either on release or for free for like 50 cents. Right? And so like that's the comparison of like the reality here, right? So then I look at this, and it's like they tried really, really hard, and I can appreciate that and I can laud it. But at the same time, I finished that demo, and I'm like, I am not going to play the full release of that because it was so jank, and it was like, it's impressive to my brain, but that didn't make me have more fun with it for me to go, wow, that's really impressive that they managed to do this.
Okay.
I want to go play something else now.
That Left 4 Dead example, like, superior free predecessor is top tier. That's OP.
Yeah.
You can't beat that. It's not fair. That's busted.
What are you supposed to do? Just make a better one. Well, that's not that easy sometimes.
Well, I mean, fortunately, it doesn't sound like there's any shortage of places to explore in the Souls modding.
No, and that's like a different perspective. So like the people who absolutely adore all these Souls mods that come out, it's the kind of thing that kind of happened with Skyrim, where it's like people are like, I just want to play this, and I have extracted every possible crumb of value from this, so I'm gonna go make more of it. It doesn't have to be the best, and it doesn't have to be the most polished. It just has to be more of this.
The other thing too is, I imagine if you dive deep into that hole, because we're gonna get into like a couple other things happening in the modding world, but
we are
the part where the creator may or may not be like more talented than some of the original team in some cases also makes a huge difference. And or like you're gonna get a quick mod that does like a quick change to something that someone kind of slapped together because they thought it would be cool, but in some cases it's gonna be a mod that has so much attention to detail that like clearly demonstrates somebody that has way more love for this than anyone.
Convergence feels that way. Convergence feels like exhaustive with the amount of new stuff that they added.
And that's rewarding in itself, where you're just like, okay, whatever this person's putting out, I know that like they have a bar for quality that's high above any random mod you're getting off of a community search.
You also run into this very bizarre thing. The number one thing that I can think of is Oblivion, and the second thing would be Elden Ring, which is mods that come out for a game and are such a quantum improvement on whatever the real thing is, that the next real official game just goes, yeah, that was a good idea, huh?
Yeah,
and just lifts it.
So here's the thing, right? What do you prefer? Do you prefer the mod that comes out that like improves the base game in a massive way, or the mod that comes and adds a completely separate new way to play it?
Depends on the particular quality of the thing. I could go either way.
Okay.
Right. So like the two mods, if I were going to talk about Dark Souls 3, for example, because I've been playing those mods recently, you just described the difference between Cinders and Convergence, right? Convergence, Cinders is like, what if we just added everything? Here's the base game, and we just added a billion shitzillion things. And then Convergence is what if we kind of made a new thing with these parts that was like a new Dark Souls game that was kind of better. But the reason I mentioned Oblivion and Cinders is because Oblivion had terrible archery. It had the worst archery ever. It was awful. And then some mods came out that were like, what if shooting a bow in an Elder Scrolls game was good? And then
what is it? Is it not aim the crosshair and pull the trigger?
It doesn't feel good. It doesn't work well. It sucks shit. And then Skyrim comes out, and it's like, what if shooting the bow was good also, very similarly to the way those old mods were? And then Stealth Archer becomes the most fun way to play vanilla Skyrim by a huge margin. Like it's the only fun way to play that game. And same thing with Cinders, where they go, what if there's a JoJo mod? And you could just do that. And then the Elden Ring trailers come out. It's like, you hold up a cube and some stands attack your guy. I'm like, okay.
And then you look through the fucking source files and you see like a folder called Brovakin's Better Archery, you know, and it's like, yeah, you just did it. You just took it. Got it. Okay.
It's interesting. It's also interesting how many of these Dark Souls mods have come out in the like 6 months before Elden Ring's release. It really feels like everybody was like, fuck, we gotta get these things out the fucking door before Elden Ring comes out, or nobody's gonna give a shit.
Yeah. That is actually a hard limit for anyone in the modding scene, come to think of it, right? Is you now or we're all gone, right? Yeah.
Well, because once Elden Ring comes out, they all have to start. Like the path of these games as modding has always been the fantasy of importing one game into the next.
Yeah.
And they got really far with that with Dark Souls 3. Like, I think I was telling you a week or two ago where, like, they had fucking imported, like, Owl's moveset back from Sekiro into DS3.
But notice that wasn't the other way around, because Sekiro didn't replace Dark Souls 3 as the platform to mod to, right?
Sekiro's also a lot narrower.
So you can pull from that and shove it in backwards. But obviously, Elden Ring is going to replace DS3 as the platform.
As the Souls game that people play. So yeah, was taking a look at that. I've been bugging my PR person for Elden Ring code, and they're like, not yet. And I'm like, oh, okay, keep me updated. I'm still here. Wooly, did you play Castlevania? I know you played Castlevania Curse. Oh, fuck!
Don't even correct it anymore. Stop correcting it, and it'll be right.
That you it's funny on the stream I did of it. I was like, let's see how long it takes for me to accidentally call this game Castlevania. It was like 3 minutes. I know you played Curse of the Moon 1.
I did.
And I remember you really liked it, and you talked about all sorts of it. How far did you get in that? Did you do the other campaigns, or just the ones through?
I just did the ones through.
Okay.
And then I played a bit of Bloodstained Original.
Okay, so there's like 3 campaigns in that, but like they're like pretty similar. It's not the end of the world. And I decided instead of doing that, I was going to move on to Curse of the Moon 2, which is incredible. Which is absolutely super excellent, and has like 1, 2, 3, 4 campaigns, 5. And you get the unlock Sengetsu moves like very early in the campaign. So you get your spin, you get your jumping attacks. The new characters are super weird to play.
How many are there?
Of the new characters, there's 3. There's Angelique, who's the spear user and plays as you would expect from a side-scrolling spear user in that genre. There's Robert, who has a gun and has a full-screen gun attack. And then there is I forget his goddamn name. What is the dog's name? There's a little dog that that goes around in a robot suit that breaks, that has a hover jump.
Yeah.
And can their sub weapon is to go invincible.
Hell yeah.
And they like break spiked floors by walking on them. Hachi, that's his name. It's just fucking great. And at some point in one of those episodes, you unlock all the original characters from Curse of the Moon 1 as well.
Nice.
Which means that there are 7. Dude, it's just great. Like it is like my favorite of those old school Castlevania-like games. And I'm really kind of torn because I was playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night on stream. And then I played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2 on stream. And I'm like,
sound hiccup. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. But I'm playing those, and I'm like, man, I think I like the spin-off bonus games better than the real
original. And that's the I'm sure that's the fear, right? Deep down is, what if Rearmed is better than Bionic Commando proper?
It was.
That's the fear.
It was way better.
I still, whatever. I still say that Bionic Commando it had some fun stuff, but Rearmed was incredible. Yeah, you don't want to have that like the fun side thing kind of like take the attention away. So that's what happened here.
Yeah, I'd much rather play, much rather play Curse of the Moon. But I got to get back to Bloodstained anyway. I maybe my opinion will change once I get to explore more of the map. Let's see what else. What else is that? I beat Pathfinder Kingmaker after 3 weeks and 112 hours. That is a big goddamn CRPG that is absolutely excellent. It is another one of those games that is like in the classic style of like Baldur's Gate kind of thing. It actually follows Baldur's Gate 1 like really closely. It's a good RPG. It's got a good story. It's got a lot of systemic interactivity between the narrative and your classes and all that. And then you get to the House at the Edge of Time, which is the final area. And the game goes from like a 9 to like a 2.
This is happening to you more and more often, it seems. Where
yeah, now that I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I finish games that I play, and then I find out, oh no, the game just shat itself at the end.
A lot of games are going to make bold decisions at the end to play for something that is either going to be different, unique. Like there's gonna you have to expect a third act escalation into some sort of finale. So is this for gameplay or like cinematic or plot reasons?
It is for everything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try and go through this as fast as possible because I cannot explain. Like they're so bad. It's so bad. So narratively, the setup to the location is a cool idea. It is like a Majora's Mask or Dark World, Light World dungeon, which is a house that has the future and the past, and you're switching between the two, right?
Okay.
Right away, they take your entire party away from you. That is the first thing that happens. And then the first entire floor of this super dungeon is going and getting your party back. And anyone's companion quest that you did not finish with the best outcome dies.
Ooh. Okay.
All right.
So this is how the story. So then this is how all your party stories conclude. Yeah. Basically. Okay.
Also, there are two characters, the healer and the Inquisitor, that if you do not bring them each on each other's companion quest and get the best outcome, they kill each other.
You mentioned that last time.
Yeah, but now I had finally gotten to the finale of that. And fun fact, my favorite party member dies no matter what.
Okay.
And they were the linchpin of my party synergy.
Okay.
I had to completely redo my fucking setup for my team in the final dungeon.
Now, what you're describing, like, I can envision versions of this where it is dramatic and cool for plot reasons, providing that you're heading towards some sort of like final confrontation and then you're done. You know?
No, this is the beginning of a dungeon that's like 4.5 hours long.
Okay. Because like losing party members can be used to propel the momentum.
Yeah, but these are like D&D style party members that you've gone from 1 to level 19. Right? You have put resources into this synergy and you've built the characters in such a way. Okay, follow up. The way that you switch between dimensions of the final area is there's mist everywhere, and if you have a lantern on or not, you teleport to the other one in a random location, which could be full of enemies that would attack you instantly with no prep. Okay. Following up on that, okay, well, I'll pre-fight prep. I'll cast my bless that lasts for 25 minutes. I'll cast my this that lasts for 25 minutes. You know, all a large person, the buffs that you would hit a D&D party with. Okay, cool. This entire enemy class hits you with Dispel Magic and just saps all of them. So, okay, all my buffs are gone. Okay, now you're fighting a bunch of undead, which do touch drain level on your party.
Like that level down.
Touch, 1 level down. Touch, 2 levels down. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
so fine. Right. I'll go out and go rest. Okay, there's one safe spot to rest, and it's not even listed as a safe location in the game. So even if you have the difficulty slider on remove negative effects on rest, that doesn't count. So you have to make sure that you have a healer with you that has greater restoration. And if you don't, I luckily did, but if you don't, the negative levels wouldn't come off, or Death's Door status won't come off. And then the whole thing is you just going through this fucking maze, fighting fairies, trying to find a bunch of keys. And like it is
so
just the fucking worst.
Like the one version of what you're describing, like I said, I can envision a version of that where it's like you propel that momentum towards a finale, and then the other version is the original Odin Sphere Ragnarok segment, and this sounds a bit closer to that.
Oh, I forgot a detail that's really important.
That's
the
rough.
The two versions of the house, the future and the past version, don't look any different. Okay. One has a few more lanterns lit, and the other has a few more cobwebs, but it's not even a different fucking color. So like, you're gonna get fucking lost, like super fucking lost.
Is there some sort of like backstory to like there being a like masochistic thing that Kingmaker Pathfinder players
there absolutely is,
that's what they're looking for?
There absolutely is, and that is that the author of the Kingmaker adventure module that was released in books back in the early aughts is a huge fan of the Gary Gygax school of adventuring, which means put the pit in the middle of the dungeon that everyone has to see, or else they fall down and die. Gygax style campaigns are brutal, and you open the door and there is a beholder there and you're dead, kind of thing.
Okay.
Gygax is the DM that thinks that their players are getting too uppity, so they drop a Tarrasque onto the map.
I've heard the name pop up a lot in early internet, but I never knew the implications of it.
The DM as antagonist rather than the DM as cooperator.
As a friend, yeah. Okay.
Right?
Got it.
So that's absolutely like the background on that.
So they're coming off of that, and you're playing a game.
Also, it's an issue with the adaptation because in a tabletop setting, if you've cleared a room, you can go, okay, let's go back to that room. And everyone just goes, okay, we went back there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in a CRPG, you have to drag your fucking party's ass down there. And however the fuck long that takes.
But for context, this is also the world where the creation... This is also the world where the character creation process was also an ordeal that you described in terms of how brutal it can be to you. And you made it past that.
Yes, I did. And here's the fun fact. Immediately after finishing Kingmaker, I started playing Wrath of the Righteous, in which is its direct sequel. And the nightmare that is the character creator there is such that I have literally been playing Wrath of the Righteous for like 3 days. And by playing, I mean creating a build and then running it for a couple hours and then be like, what if I did this?
Yeah.
What if I did this? And I finally landed on one, which is like 11 levels of 11, 12. Yeah, 11 levels of Dirge Bard, 5 Mutagen Fighter, and 4 Dragon Disciple. But that build creation thing is incredible in the second game. It's probably the most in-depth character creator I've ever seen in terms of statistics and features. And when I started playing it, it's a dramatically different game in tone. It's very like demon, like end of the world, like dark nightmare shit compared to Kingmaker's more placid beginning. And I realized that like CRPGs always do this. The first game looks like Lord of the Rings and takes place in a normal setting with normal people. And when you run into characters, they're going to be pure classes. This guy's going to be a fighter. This guy's going to be a wizard, etc. And then the second game takes place in some violent shithole part of the universe. And almost every single character you run into is like a fucking cunt and have weird bullshit subclasses that you would never pick yourself.
Because the sequel is the remix of the stuff you already know.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's like Baldur's Gate did that, Pillars did that, Mass Effect did that, for fuck's sake. And it's just interesting because it's like, I wonder if there's a pure ranger on the team. No, there's a half succubus espionage expert subclass ranger with no pet. Like, okay. Can I just get a fucking normal ranger? Oh, well, this guy's an archer. Oh, that's cool. Oh, he's a monk archer, which means he can't wear armor. But his wisdom's high, so if you want to multi-class him into Crusader, that's good. And you're like, yeah, okay, if you're down with that. But so after going through, like, if I, people ask you, oh, can I?
So no, I'm just thinking of like my friends and I back in the day with D&D, and like, it's there's all the classic classes, and then there's the people who've done this many times, the experts in your group that are like, fuck it, I'm going hybrid class, give me a fighter mage, you know?
Yeah, but now it's weird now. Now it's weird because, like, it's not give me a fighter mage. That shit, that's for babies. No, are you going to be running a fucking arcane trickster mystic theurge vivisectionist? You got to get those sneak attack rays. You have to have your ray of cold to do sneak attack damage. It's the only way. It's like, okay. Yeah, it's infinite. So I'm left with this thing of like, people say, oh, should I play Kingmaker before Wrath of the Righteous? Same way they say, should I play Pillars before Pillars 2? And there's obviously a little bit of story, connection there, in so much that they do take place in the same setting, but that's pretty much it. But the actual reason that I would recommend playing Kingmaker before Wrath of the Righteous is, one, is aside from its ending, it's excellent. And two is, I needed to get through an entire 100-hour campaign with Pathfinder before I started to feel comfortable multi-classing my characters in Wrath of the Righteous.
Damn. Okay.
Because multi-classing is complicated, but fun. Because you get to do stupid shit. You just get to do zany, stupid shit. Like, what if I ran a bard that juiced himself with potions and then used 2-weapon fighting, but one of the weapons they were fighting with is a shield? Like, okay, cool. And what if I started as a background as a martial adept so that I get improved unarmed strikes, but I don't need that. I just need to get that as the prerequisite plus dodge to get crane stance so that I have only a -2 attack bonus on defensive fighting, which is +3, but if you have 3 stacks of mobility, +4, but that's fine because bards have a skill focus in every
Tell me there's a website to help plan this shit.
There's actually a shit ton of websites.
Okay.
One is the Game Zone subreddit. The second is The second is type in the name of the character you want to build if it's a companion, and then the word build into Google, and the 5 websites will come at you, and so on and so forth. Also, to those of you wondering, I'm not talking about monk dipping. Yes, that's a term. It's an awful term. I hate the term dipping. I hate it.
What does dipping imply?
Dipping is if you were to run like 18 levels of Bard and take 2 levels of Paladin, so that you would get the immunity to like charm effects.
So that you dip into Paladin.
You dipped your toe into Paladin. I saw some people thinking that I had monk dipped my Dirge Bard. I'm like, no, I just chose the background for martial adept. No, you can't monk dip on a Dirge Bard that you're gonna use to play Azada. They're chaotic good, and monks gotta be lawful. Come on, people.
Hold on, I can only type so fast. Okay, got it. Dipping, huh? Well,
yeah, dipping.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's better than dipping.
Yeah.
Soaking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're talking about the soak.
You got to soak into a class where you stay in that class a little bit longer to make sure that it gets in. The good stuff gets in.
Yeah.
You got to soak that class, man. You know.
Yeah. You want to soak at least 12 levels of Blood Rager Primalist, so that you get your good unlocks, and then you can start moving to other classes. It helps. It helps if the if the bard in the party starts jumping up and down on the bed next to you.
Exactly. Then you can soak in Paladin for a while to get all the blessings you need. Which is a little bit more than a dip. That's pretty good. That's good.
Yeah, no, but Wrath of Righteous, Kingmaker's great. Wrath of Righteous is fantastic. Though I did soft lock myself out of a quest, so it's still within that first year period of these games in which like you will talk to a guy and he'll kill a second NPC, and then that guy will attack you and you'll kill him, and then the game will say report to the NPC you just saw die. And I'm like, well, that's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be tough.
How did the finale go through that hell dungeon?
So the best thing about Pathfinder Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous is if you get to something that's just complete dog shit, just go into difficulty and turn all those sliders to the bottom. Remove enemies' ability to critically hit you. Remove their damage from normal to 10% of damage. Turn down enemy party size and decrease their health.
Why not save scum?
The issue at one point doesn't become difficulty, it becomes time. The issue with House at the Edge of Time is not difficulty, because you can easily clear every encounter. The issue is that every single encounter finishes you off with no buffs and level drains, which means you're going to have to go find somewhere safe to rest up, rebuff, greater restore yourself, etc. It turns what in the rest of the game would have been a 30-second encounter into like a 5-6 minute fucking thing.
Okay.
Over and over and over and over again. So you just turn it all the way down and just waltz through the enemies and then talk to the final boss, which has the most absurd conditions I have ever seen in a game to talk them down.
Can you safely discuss what those are?
You can talk the boss down, the final boss, from being evil. And it is absolutely the most absurd conditions I have ever seen. It includes not romancing any character in the game. It includes researching like 10, 50 to 100 day projects that give you nothing and imply that you get nothing other than the fact that they factor into the final conversation.
Wow. Okay.
You need to have been nice to the villain in every interaction. That's probably the wildest.
Okay.
The villain tries to kill you multiple times, and you have to have been like, no, why are you doing this? Instead of, fuck you, I'll kill you.
So spend the whole game building up to this, basically. Okay.
So I got about halfway through the game and found out that I had not locked myself out of the conditions. And so was like, okay, let's see if we can get these. And it's like, yeah, it's super shit. And on top of that, by talking the final boss down, you get a new final boss and a new final section after the end of that House of the Edge of Time. And the new final section is also terrible. It's the only part of the game that still runs badly. It was like running at like 15 frames a second. And it's just a fucking mindless gauntlet slog. So yeah, I have already been contacted by people to tell me about Wrath of the Righteous's ending sequence. And it really says a lot about the CRP genre and how they're written and how they're designed and how they're made difficult and how they throw challenges at the player. Because I had 5 different people tell me, oh, don't worry, the end of Wrath of the Righteous isn't nearly that bad.
I see.
It's the nature of the genre. I'm thinking back, I can only think of like Baldur's Gate 1 had like a good final sequence.
Really? Is that the only one? Both divinities.
I didn't get to the end of the divinities.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking of like Pillars 1, right? And Pillars 1 narratively had a good ending, but like you run into this issue with a lot of these games about like what the player can deal with and not deal with. And a lot of times, and you played KOTOR, so you've seen this.
KOTOR and Disco.
Yeah, well, let's use KOTOR for example. They run into the issue of like, what can we actually throw at the player that's like a real challenge? And there's 2 things you can do. You can throw a massive gauntlet of tough enemies at them. It has to be a gauntlet. It has to be long, right? Mm-hmm. So like think of like the Starforge, just enemy after enemy after to wear you down. And then the second thing they can do is they can make the final boss a level past level cap mage, essentially, that will hit you with crowd control effects and summon monsters and shit like that. And above level cap mages suck shit to fight. Suffering from crowd control effects is terrible. Like there's people like run entire builds. Like one of the best reasons to play a paladin in almost any of these games is they're immune to crowd control effects. They don't get slept, don't get charmed, they don't get etc.
Unless they're spending each turn telling you about how the arcana is the means by which all is revealed. Then it's pretty hype.
Well, see, that's different, because in a JRPG, when you're writing these things in turn-based, like, it's just a fucking straight-up fight. You don't have to deal with...
It'll be a half hour, but yeah, you just sit there and do it.
But yeah, no, it's like the genre has issues with its endings.
Okay.
And like, it's easy to make a highly reactive game that abides by your choices for about 85 to 95% of it, and then you get to the end and you're like, well, we kind of gotta funnel this back to something here. Though I will give it credit, the way Wrath of the Righteous, I'm not that far yet, but gets around it, is that there's a second leveling structure. You have your character levels, as you would assume, and then you have something called a mythic path, which is like a... I don't know what to call it, like a super class.
Okay.
And it changes the game's narrative. They're angel, demon, devil, Azada, which is like a super powerful bard, trickster, which is a meta character, lich, and swarm that walks. And
Okay, yeah, it's just the final form of whatever mid class you pick.
But
yeah,
they're
okay.
not. They have nothing to do with the classes that you've already picked.
Oh, okay.
They're completely separate. So they'll range from angel, which is like, as you would expect, and can get all sorts of fancy buffs and make buffs last for multiple days, to lich, who their storyline will dramatically change the state of the world for the worse, and most of your party will leave you, and you have to replace them with corpses. So, like, this one has just a bunch of replay value. I think the Aeon one, which is like a cosmic judge, they have a side quest chain that involves going back in time to right wrongs.
Interesting.
So,
okay.
just very, very different.
Cool.
Have not gotten that far. That's all after the first chapter, but I'm very interested in seeing more of that. But that seems to be how they get around the reactivity thing, where they just built about, let's say 20% of each act to go to these different things.
Although I'm going to go ahead and guess that, we both probably have the same thing with, this career choice, which is the instant replay to see new things is discouraged because you got to pick something else, right?
Well, luckily... Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous are CRPGs, which are terrible for viewing. So, there's no. I'm not streaming these.
Okay.
These are for Pat.
Okay.
These are for Pat games. That's pretty much it for me. I'll check back in once I actually get anywhere in. But I've played the fucking first 3 hours of Wrath of the Righteous like 5 times. But I'm happy with my character now.
Where can people watch you not play these games?
That's right. This week I'm going to be playing Curse of the Moon. I'm also going to be playing I played Nightfall last night. That's a Monday. We're also going to be playing Monster Hunter with Paige over on Saturday. She's really liking it. That's fun. And I'm also going to be taking a look at the Path of Exile expansion reveal event on Thursday. They're going to be unveiling their new expansion that's going to come out next month, and I'll be watching the showcase on that. #sponsored.
Okay. Cool. Over.
Oh, and that's at twitch.tv/PatStaresAt.
Yeah. Say that part.
That part's important.
You should mention that part. Over on this side of the fence, got a couple things actually. Did a couple things this week. So, most interesting thing. Well, a lot of interesting things, but I'll go first with this. Windjammers 2 has finally dropped, and if you don't know what Windjammers is,
it's a trapped turd.
Is that? Did you just do that? Did you get that anywhere? Did that come from somewhere, or did you just pulled that out?
I think I did get it from somewhere, but I think it was like a BBC interview back in like the 70s.
Because that's a little too quick on that one.
Yeah.
But okay. No, not quite. It is the funnest version of Pong you can play. It's really, really cool. Windjammers was an old SNK game, and I remember me and like my friends back in the day just like discovering and playing it, and you know, you might see it in an arcade every once in a while, but for the most part, it was like just something that no one was really talking about or seemed to know. But it's just like, oh my god, this is a really fun way to just like grab a frisbee.
Yeah, I never saw it in my life before its resurgence a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it was super cool, and then it was like one of those fun things where like, okay, well, anyway, and then maybe someone down the line somewhere will bring it up when you be like, oh fuck, yo, you know what that is, cool, you know. And then I believe Giant Bomb were the ones that kind of like really signal boosted the game at some point many years ago. Then it was like, okay, this is a really cool competitive game where you just you both guard your net, you toss frisbees back and forth like Pong, and you can do supers and fun like drop shots and things like that. And then there was an era of, why did this never come back? Why did it never go anywhere? There could have been so much more.
Because SNK.
Well, I mean, I say SNK in the sense that it was like on the Neo Geo platform, but I don't think they were the developers. I think
they weren't.
No, I think it was just like a Neo Geo game, as in that was what it was released to. I think it was 80K or one of the developers from back in the day. Data East. Yeah. So it was released for the Neo Geo platform. So yeah, this thing kind of came and had that kind of impression, and it was like, okay, are there going to be like, is anyone going to kind of try to pick up the torch, get this going, spiritual successors? And then yeah, there were a couple spiritual successors, and they didn't really capture all the tightness, the energy, the fun that Windjammers had, you know. I remember Disc Jam came out some time ago, and you know, it's kind of like, okay, they clearly are fans and they know what they want a sequel to this game to be, but it didn't catch on, you know. It didn't latch on, I should say. So .mu's been working on it for a while, finally just dropped, and it's fucking great. It's taking a lot of the feeling and the tightness of the original game and adding a bit to it, but not too much, you know. And I really like aesthetically, the presentation is doing all the right things. It's fun, summer in the sun, all the perfect beach visuals, and music is doing the best it can. When you start the game up, it has like a nice little like bass beat that plays on the main menu, and then when you get to the character select screen, all the instruments come in to do the main theme song that you heard back in the day. So it's doing really fun shit like that. But what they managed to do with Windjammers 2 is sort of keep the core in while building a bit on top of it, in a similar way to like when Street Fighter 4 came out.
Yeah.
Where if you still remember how to dash, grab a frisbee, throw it off the wall, do all that basic stuff, it's all there, and it's, you know, as responsive as it was, and it feels pretty much like the original game is in there. But then they added another layer to it with a jump button and a meter that you can use for like defensive specials, and a little bit more you can build off of in terms of like the meta with the introduction of these two or three things. And just that is enough to like fucking like make the game even better.
So what took Windjammer so long to actually surface as itself again?
I don't know. I think the process of .mu getting the license and, you know, and like bringing it back and doing this whole thing is like more complicated than just making your own Windjammer successor.
Is it possible that noted Windjammer's denier Dave Lang was holding up the process?
It's
and
possible.
That the situation cleared up shortly after his untimely death. Rest in peace, Dave.
It's possible that with his last breath, he cursed Windjammers forever. But I don't know. I don't know what took it so long. But it's here, and I can say that the new additions, the jump button in particular, is fucking sick, because the way old Windjammers would play would be like you would you basically, you know, you'd catch the frisbee, throw it back. If you timed it properly, you could do a fast return. And if you also tapped it up in the air, you'd have a moment to charge your super and then do a crazy exploding shot or something like that. What you can do in this case is you can jump up at any point when the frisbee's flipping through the air, and then instead spike it. So you can do kind of like badminton / like tennis maneuvers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, how heavy or how light your character is, like, determines how quickly you can like dash across the court to like catch a drop shot like that. You could also, but as much as it's like a huge benefit to spike the frisbee, if the person's able to catch it and throw it while you're still in the air, it's a free score because you have no defense because you're still landing, you know. So it's a nice high risk high reward kind of play that's introduced into the rhythm. The new characters are fun, you know. Everything is just doing what it does, and yeah, online's there. Online's got rollback. So that's
Seriously?
all good. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's so. Shout outs to .mu. You know, they've they've come a long way, and you know, from some earlier troubled releases, they've got some good shit now. Windjammers 2 is awesome. I really like it, and I really can tell as well, like going back to it, that like I picked some of the lighter characters and I kind of went like, oh man, I really spent most of my time with the heavies, because like the traversal speed and the way you're supposed to play them, like in this game, especially with the extra risks, becomes way more apparent. With heavies, you're supposed to kind of like dash or use your dash to catch the frisbee, and then the power disc, excuse me. And then
Sure, yeah, definitely.
Your power disc or your flying disc, you use the dash to get around, and then when you catch it, you return it with a fast shot. With the light characters, you're supposed to walk around and dash to make like huge plays, you know. So the character variety is pretty represented. There's about like, honestly, I want to say like 60% returning, 40% new, you know, on the cast as well. So fucking, it's finally here. It took forever, but it is out and it is crossplay. So as soon as you jump online, whatever platform anyone's got, you can see we're all playing together.
You can jam.
You know, you're on fucking Steam, you're on Xbox, whatever. Nope, you know, yeah, who cares? Fuck it. So rollback crossplay, Windjammers is awesome. It's great. Super good cop on that. We had a little bit of fun. That episode of Get Into Fighting Games is gonna be out shortly, I think, if it hasn't already done so. The other thing was wrapping up Silent Hill 2. And holy fuck. Holy shit at that finale.
Yep. That the letter is
God damn.
It's like the best monologue in any game ever.
Yeah, so as it was going down, it was really like, why does this stand out so much from the rest of the game's voice acting? And I kind of caught wind that the lore is supposedly that that's because that's the actress's first read of it with no direction, just emotionally responding to what was in the letter. Now, I don't know if that was like some kind of headcanon created thing. It sounds like something that could be fan lore, but
I don't know about that. But like the characters in Silent Hill 2, outside of one child, are all complete goddamn weirdos.
Yep.
And the person reading that letter is not, and is just going for a hyper realistic, emotive take on said letter. And I think the dichotomy between the bizarre, but I'm going to call it bizarre realism performances of the other characters and the hyper realistic portrayal of the letter it helps.
It does. And I think that even going in, so Reggie was completely cold. For me, obviously, you'd been talking to me about this game for years, so
yeah,
you know,
it's good game.
Yeah, I had a bunch of like preloaded information. You know, I remember like some long ago discussions about Pyramid Head and long ago discussions about James, and you know, whatever we talked about SH2 for a while, and all that still being, you know, known by me, it was still really, really good getting to it. And it's interesting how the endings play out this time around, because unlike the last time where it was like, oh, good plus, bad minus, that's what it is. Here, it's just the leave ending, the in water ending. It doesn't necessarily, you know, you can take your pick on it, but the feeling, of course, is like, I think you're in water ending, which is the one we got.
Same one I got the first time I played, by the way.
Yeah, because and like when you go look at the requirements, it's like, well, of course you're gonna get that if you're doing what the video game tells you to do, right? Yeah. Like when it's like when you meet Maria and she's asking you to go places and do things, to you, you're like, yeah, but this is the video game telling me to go places and do things, like every other video game. Why wouldn't I do those things?
When I played that game in 2001, the leave ending was definitely the most appropriate for me. Sorry, the in-water ending was definitely the most appropriate for me. Okay. And when I played it many years later, the leave ending was much more appropriate for me at the time. I think we can all agree that the actual worst, most depressing ending is the Maria ending.
Maria ending is
it's vicious.
Yeah, yeah. Like, well, the implications are that he just gives up well, they're both giving up, but the thing with in water,
one is you give up, and the other is you give up and pretend.
Yes, give up and pretend. Exactly. In water, to me, I was looking at that as like, so the way the requirements are for in water are basically, you need to play with your life on danger often. Don't heal as often as you can. You know, to me, I'm like, but I'm just min-maxing my health items. You know, I'm basically like, if I can heal instantly, I'm gonna wait till I need to heal instead of like burning through whatever healing abilities I have on a small heal. But it interprets that as being somewhat suicidal, right?
Yeah, and then later, upon more time of the game, you understand that because the heal, the health meter is a color. It's not like a bar.
Yeah.
And you discover that you can intuit what each health item heals exactly, so you'll never overheal.
Okay.
And so your health ends up being full all the time.
Okay. Then the other aspect being, like, you know, that knife that you get, like, stare at it too often. Serve a single
purpose in the whole game.
Which I don't know, so I keep going back to it to be like, where's the puzzle going to be that's going to need this? And then it's like, oh, you stared at the knife a lot, you must want to end it, you know? And it's like, okay, well. But from all of that aside, the scene with essentially Angela's finale, which is fucking rough as well.
Oh yeah.
Boy, on that, the way that plays out, and the way James kind of says, like, I would never kill myself, you know, and
he doesn't sound all that sure of himself.
But you would hope, or at least I would hope, that like that scene would kind of maybe take that option away if it was on the table up to that point, you know?
No, it doesn't. The way that they wrote the story they wanted to write, and then they wrote endings that all, like, let's say In Water was the only ending, right? It would feel completely appropriate, and I think all of the endings are like that. Like, if they were the only ending, they would feel appropriate, with the one exception of being the I want to call it his rebirth.
Oh,
Rebirth ending is not appropriate for like a first playthrough. That's like a bonus thing. The dog ending's totally appropriate, with the little
He's
song
behind
with
it
the
all,
dog barks,
pulling the levers the whole time. Yeah,
that's like a lot of the team's favorite ending too. Like for real.
Well, clearly, you can see the effort put into all of that shit. Renders exclusive to the dog ending, you know.
Yeah.
So what I remember as well was you were telling me that like with further analysis into the game, there was explicit reasons for why Pyramid Head looks the way he does, and why he is exactly belonging to James.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember what those were, but it's been a minute.
If you asked me 10 years ago, I would have been able to give you like an essay off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Every single enemy has a distinct thematic connection. Pyramid Head's connection visually is a lot more to the town. He's the conical. He's he's wearing a kind of geometric helmet that the Civil War executioners in the prison used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why he's coming after James is as he a punisher or executioner for crimes.
Mm-hmm.
But his physical appearance is definitely tied to the town more than James. Now the lying figure, the mannequin legs, the nurses. Now that's easy, and I could go through those like that if you want. The lying figures are pathetic, sick, vomiting, covered in a sheet creatures that fucking James's first interaction with is that he angrily stomps one out because he's disgusted by it. The mannequin legs are an obsession with legs and like the female form. The nurses are faceless to represent the anonymity and lack of empathy for medical staff, but they're also kind of sexy, and their faces have a weird translucent sheen that is meant to emulate that of a used condom.
Interesting. That's what that's for. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
The doorman enemies are Angela's. Like the doorman boss is not James's.
No,
it's
Angela's. I think it's called the abstract daddy.
Yeah.
That you fight is and you take a look at that for 2 seconds. You're like, yeah, it's a covered monster on a bed with a sheet over it.
Yeah.
You don't got to look too hard into that.
Right. And the variation of that, the normal enemy, which is the doorman, right, is similar looking, but is to be a figure on a bed smothering another figure.
Okay. Yeah. Then there you go.
As to someone in the chat said, why is Pyramid Head trying to sexually assault the legs? He's not. When you find Pyramid Head attacking the mannequin legs, he's trying to jam them down the sink. He's trying to hide them. So that's up to. So it's confirmation that he's trying to jam them down the sink. As for interpretation, you can say that James is trying to hide extramarital affairs, or his embarrassment, or his shame.
The entire sexual aspect of his being, pretty much. Yeah.
There's also a lot of like little tiny baby things that you can go through and take a look at yourself. This is probably the most dissected thematic game of all time. But my personal favorite is one that is like, it plays with your conception of what video games are talking about, because like you ever see the interview with M. Night Shyamalan where he's talking about The Sixth Sense, and he's talking about how nervous everyone on the cast felt about the scene where the kid's telling Bruce Willis he can see dead people, and they're zooming in on Bruce Willis, and it's like his fucking frame on a theater screen, and they're like, this is too much, right? This is way too much. Everyone's gonna get it, right? No, turns out flew over everyone's head. Well, in Silent Hill 2, when you go and get the flashlight, and the flashlight is glaringly bright, right? Like, it's the only thing in that entire room, and it's pointed directly at you, and James is like, it's on Mary's dress. The mannequin that it's sitting on top of are Mary's clothes.
Yeah.
And then the instant you take the light off of Mary's clothes and the spotlight comes off of James, he gets attacked by the mannequin legs.
Okay. We did look at
as soon as the self-reflection ends, the female form shows up to
and
attack
attacks him. Interesting. I did look at the photo at that point on the mannequin and catch that's the same dress. Yeah. But that's exactly it. I remember that whether it was like through video essays or forum discussions, I do remember like a good. Honestly, it's more than 10 years ago. This was like fucking LaSalle era, where you were like going into some of the extreme like detail that some of this stuff referenced, which is fucking fascinating, and really, really. Honest, I don't want like saved is too strong of a word, but the letter reading does so much.
Oh,
it does so much for the finale of this game. Yeah, it is another just fuck. I mean, yeah, I told you like Bad Minus was like pretty fucking crushing.
Yeah,
but and then you get here and you're like that is annihilating in a completely different way. Because it's just like you can't completely blame anybody there. Yeah. It is the shit roll of the dice that life gives you, and then you have to decide who you are. But in that, and the complexity of like how Mary is like responding to James when it's like someone walking toward, knowing that they're gonna die, walking towards that end, and then having that hostile reaction followed by apology, followed by like what does she actually want? And the answer is it's complicated. Anyone who knows they're gonna die is going to have a fucked up, complex reaction to that. They're gonna have. It's not gonna be a cut and dry. Oh, it'll be okay. Just pull the plug, or fuck you, get away from me. It can be both.
So. You've gone through 1 and 2, which are excellent, and 2, like you're now like fully locked in. Like, oh, that's why people won't shut the fuck up about this game. 3 is great, and 4 has its charms, but you finally have reached the point where I can unironically tell you, SH2 is so good that it ruined Silent Hill forever.
So this is what I was told, is that the discussion that I had afterwards. When we were like looking at all the different endings and putting it together, is where people were saying, so here's what you can understand now, is they never got over this and they kept trying to do it.
So specifically new developers. 3 is more about the cult, and that's good, right? 4 is just way out there, right? And then all the ones afterwards, Homecoming, Downpour, Shattered Memories, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're all like, hey, what if we did that Silent Hill 2 thing again? Now, Shattered Memories does have some success.
Yeah, I enjoyed what I remember, going.
The others sure as fuck don't. Boy, even Silent Hill Origins tries to do this, and it's like it's weak. It's weak.
Yeah, I can see how, like, I can see how attempting to redo this, because it's also so simple, right? In terms of its ingredients, like it really does not appear to be that complex. But
they're just cooked perfectly.
But that exactly right. Anything done masterfully will appear effortless.
Yeah, and
so the attempt to recreate that in its in its simplicity can go so horribly wrong.
So like, if you continue playing the
salt,
series,
pepper, and steak, how can you fuck it up? right?
If you continue to play this series, I have a factoid for you to keep in the back of your head that plays into every single one of them over time, and it's over time, not like sequel to sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It is the only video game franchise I can think of in which this has ever been the case. But every single game in the Silent Hill franchise sold less than the one that came out prior.
Okay.
There are Silent Hill 1, 2, 3, 4, Homecoming, Shattered Memories, Downpour, and then Book of Secrets, or the PSP one, whatever it is. Every single one sold less copies than the one before it.
Well,
Origins was in there too. So there's 9 games.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, that if I do play anything else in this franchise, I'm still going to go into it with an open mind and make my own conclusions of what I'm seeing. I'm gonna give it the open-ended shot, knowing that this is how the franchise plays out after 2 is finished.
People just pointed out that PT had 0 sales, therefore finishing the trend.
Oh, that's fucked.
No.
Here's the other thing, though. Based on what I remember, those movies came out, and it seemed like people enjoyed them and thought that they were all right for adaptations of games.
All right, so 1 has its moments, and they tried really hard, particularly from a visual perspective. However, 1 straight up falls apart at the 60-minute mark. The 60-minute mark. And there is over an hour of cut footage from that film that's never come back up, which was going to be them wandering around the town getting creeped out, which probably would have helped a little bit more.
Okay.
And also, they changed. The first Silent Hill movie is an adaptation of the story of 1 directly.
Mm-hmm.
Dolly is there. And,
I would assume.
Except the part of Harry Mason has been changed to Rose, because the director Christoph Gans, the Brotherhood of the Wolf guy, was a man playing that character would be too effeminate because he's supposed to be scared and chasing after his daughter. And it's
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's
yeah. Uh-huh.
Having a main character that's a man that's scared of monsters, that's too gay.
Boys don't get scared. Yeah, okay. Cool. Cool.
And then the
cool.
second
for
movie
sure.
featuring Kit Harington is just awful.
Oh, Jon Snow is James?
Jon Snow is Vincent, a character you don't know because you haven't played Silent Hill 3.
Okay.
That second movie, the first one is at least there's enough of the film in Silent Hill 1 that is just pleasant to look at. It's the cinematography and the look of the town and the way Sean Bean's acting and stuff like that. Yeah, it's worth watching just to see it. The second one is just it's oh my god, it's so fucking bad. It's a bad.
Okay.
Also, don't even look up the synopsis of it at all because it'll spoil Silent Hill 3 for you.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the fact that the main character is from 3 already makes me a little eyebrows on that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is
also. You want to hear something fun? You know how I said Silent Hill 2 was so good it ruined all the future games?
Mm-hmm.
It also ruined the movies.
The movies
because
as well.
when they were making the Silent Hill movies, they're like, well, we want to do 2, but we got to set up the town first, I guess. So we'll do 1 first. So like the first Silent Hill movie is like is a stepping stone to a Silent Hill 2 movie that didn't happen.
That's unfortunate. The impression I was under all these years was that the Silent Hill movies were like the opposite of the Resident Evil ones, because like they were more faithful, and overall I heard people say a couple nice things about them.
There are a couple nice things to be said about the first one, particularly in its look and its literal directing, like the placement of its camera. But
okay.
I mean, there's a part in the first Silent Hill movie where they realize that they've been coy about the plot for too long, so a character just sits a person down and explains the whole backstory of the film in like 10 minutes with a flashback sequence, and it's like, fucking give me a break, give me a goddamn break.
Well, yeah, no, that was a really good game, and the differences in the final conversation that you have as you walk up to the last boss fight are also very interesting. You know, because you can tell which ending you're gonna get based on like what you see as you get to the roof.
And the final boss is a little different.
A little different, yeah. So, yeah, those things are all pretty interesting. What I was very confused by, and I guess just, you know, I felt like maybe I needed to hear interviews or just extended lore somewhere, but like the kid in the end, like with Laura, I didn't know whether she was a figment of the town or not, you know?
No, she's a totally normal person.
That came from the same hospital that found her way there.
Well, no, she lives there.
And she's not affected because she's innocent.
She's walking around a completely normal town.
Yeah. So I just was like, I'm like looking at everyone else being messed up here and going like, well, what, like, this kid doesn't, you know, we're not like, is clearly not like fucking Eddie or Angela. And I was just immediately going like, she must be the fucking she must be a figment of the town as well. And I mean, at one point, and I'm like, are we looking at another Alessa situation where Maria is like Alessa and then the kid is the Lilith to the situation, you know?
So you're diving into something that people who play these games and care about these games have been arguing about for like decades, which is in Silent Hill 1 they talk about the other world, and they also make a distinction between being transported to the other world and having the real world become the other world, like when you see the floor turn into the grating.
Yeah.
Silent Hill 2 plays that a bit more in that areas aren't like hell, and they appear to be personalized. Like you see Angela's and it's flame, right?
Yeah.
You see James's and it's overwhelmingly decay.
Yeah.
Right? And then 3 has more of it, and it's unclear what is happening. There's an argument to be made in Silent Hill 2 specifically that it is like 99% perception, in that like James is walking around a otherwise normal town looking like a psycho.
I mean, like, yes, because you end up on the grading floor at a point, but I feel like there is a distinct ratchet upwards the moment you go down the hole, so to speak, which is also such a fucking moment. But when you find the graves and you go in, like the dial cranks up to fucking 11.
Yeah,
so
well, it's
there's
one of those things.
There's something to distinguish between what he was walking around in before that point and after, you know?
It's one of those things that people argue about it and argue about it and argue about it. What parts of Silent Hill 1 are real? I'm going to go with almost all of it. I think that's fairly clear, right? like people's locations and their states and time, and even if they're being teleported to other worlds or whatever, it's pretty consistent, right? In 2 and 3, it's not nearly as clear. And like I feel like obsessing over is the bowling alley that Eddie is having pizza in open?
Right.
Whatever. It's kind of not the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, no, it's reasonable enough to assume that, like, you open the door to the hotel and you walk into a building, and then anything after that is open to discussion.
Like, did James really open up a can of light bulbs?
Right. Yeah.
Maybe not. And the whole thing is like in 1 and a little bit more in 3, the dark power of Silent Hill is more explicit. But in 2, it's implicit. It's not like the devil isn't like in Silent Hill 1, the devil showed up. Right? In Silent Hill 2, the devil's not there. It's not present. It's all make believe. It could, if not for Eddie and Angela, you could say that the whole setting was a manifestation of James's trauma, right? But they're dealing with their own stuff. Have you ever seen the film Jacob's Ladder?
No, but I know about it and what its ending represents.
It is a copy pasta of Silent Hill visual motifs and whatnot. It's also a good movie.
Yeah,
it's also a genuinely good movie.
But like with 1, specifically the bad minus ending, it's like you get a very direct reference. So with 2, you can't just do the same thing again, and boy did they fucking go for something else, so it just in the end, a lot to chew on the like the emotional tone of that. And it was pretty interesting too, because Reggie was just fucking speechless about it. I feel there's a very different feeling you have for James than you do for Harry.
Harry is a hero, unequivocal.
He's literally got the lines that are like, yeah, I don't care about that. I'm here for my daughter.
He is the absolute archetypal heroic everyman. James is not.
The guilt that you see there is very human, but yeah, he's not being the same level of heroic by facing that guilt down compared to like Harry going into like literally try to save a child that he picked up off the road to begin with. You know what I mean? No, he's being good peoples. Anyway, good ass game. How about that? There's your take.
Are you planning to go on to 3?
Well, I if I were to do so, it would be out of the blue. But
I see.
Not but I'll say probably not immediately right now, but maybe at some point if the timing works out. But I am aware how much people have made me very aware how much they would like to see it. So I hear that, and it's then gonna probably happen. Just it might not be immediately right now with the 1, 2, 3.
There's a parry in that game.
Say what?
There's a parry in that game.
Excuse me?
There is a parry button in Silent Hill 3.
How does that work exactly?
I forget what button it is, but when enemies attack you, you can hold your hands up in front of your face like this, and you'll take reduced damage if you time it right. Zangief, it was you behind it, wasn't it?
Is it like just frame?
No, it's about 20 frames, maybe 25 frames. It's fairly generous.
And they stagger backwards upon a nice timed.
No, you just do get less damage. You also get a katana in that game.
What do you get? Do you get a bionic arm and a jetpack as well? Yeah.
No, but
yeah. Go on.
You can get a magical girl outfit that comes with like a magic scepter and a lightsaber and a ray gun. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Hey, keep soaking. Just soak it. Soak it right in.
Yeah.
You having a nice soak? That is funny. I do enjoy the labbing, and deconstructing the tech in these things. So
the reality of it is that Silent Hill 3 has way less endings than Silent Hill 2 or even 1. So what they did is they put a ton of costumes and a ton of unlockable weapons into it to encourage replay value.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. Well, I mean, I never got the chainsaw or anything anyway, so like.
Chainsaw's post game.
Yeah.
So,
did some of that. Okay, a couple other things. One, and this is the timing on this is interesting.
Somebody in the chat wanted me to mention something to you, which is important. And it has something to do with the leave ending. Sorry, the in water ending. Did you ever check the trunk of James's car?
I don't think so.
He won't open it. It's been a long-standing idea that Mary's in the trunk of the car.
Whoa. Okay. What does the text say
I cannot quite remember it right now.
Again, I feel like games like this, as soon as I hear that, I go, give me a little more, because I bet you people have created infinite fan canons about their own way to make things more than what they are. But that sounds interesting if it is supported by what is in the game.
Hold on. April 30th, 2012, from one Masahiro Ito. Quote, the Mary's body is on the back seat of James's car, not in the trunk, if I remember correctly. So Mary's, just straight up sitting in the car. Dead.
Wow. I mean, it certainly is like one of those readings of like, hey, come see me. We can, come visit me. I'm waiting for you here. He's like, yeah, you can read that letter that way if you wanted. Or you can not read it at all because it fucking disappears.
Oh, and then Guy C, he went on to an interview and described that the reason why she's in the backseat of the car is as a reference to the Japanese, I don't know what to call it, the Japanese phenomenon of what's called a forced double suicide, in which you drive your car into a lake with a passenger.
Oh. That's a concept we're not familiar with at all.
Yep.
Okay.
Also, did you ever check the letter at the end of
that's
the game?
what I just set up. It's gone.
Yeah.
And then the envelope is
Not
there.
real.
And then the envelope is gone.
Yeah, it's completely fake.
And then it just completely disappears from your inventory.
There was a real letter at some point, but James doesn't have it.
Yeah, in fact, where was it? We pinned down the exact moment it happened. I think it's right after the elevator scene with Pyramid Head and Maria. If I'm not mistaken, I think right after that scene plays out, the letter stops having any text on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh. So, anyway, yeah. So that's Silent Hill 2.
It's good.
It's good.
20 years old now.
It's a very, very good game. And you know what? That fucking community fixed remake for the fix of the PC version, solid. That worked out. I even turned on 3D controls for the Maria side section.
Yeah.
And just
That's the worst part in the whole game. You could have turned those controls on.
Well, I was like, fuck it. It's a little 1 hour. Well, it was more than that, but a little final section. Let's see what this is like. And you just dance in circles around the enemies. Like, it's not even a game.
It also feels weird.
And the camera keeps cutting back into angles where you have to correct which way you're running.
Yeah, it's like you play with that camera and you're like, you play it on one screen. You're like, wow, this is great. Why didn't they do this for the whole? Oh, that's why.
Camera switch, camera switch, camera switch. Now you're running backwards. Uh-oh. Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, very quickly, I was going to bring up that I've been playing a game in the background as well, and on my own time, and it has become hilariously relevant because while we approach, Elden about to drop at some point, I was like, yeah, I want to play a bit more of these Souls games and replay and do things.
Yeah, why not? That's
so
good.
I was getting ready to pop open Bloodborne and go through. Then I was like, well, I might as well replay DS2 since at some point that's going to become relevant in the future. So
yeah,
I played a bunch of Scholar of the First Sin, and I had decent time to play it. It seems to be pretty active again. And people are around. All the online stuff's happening, and all the PvP covenants are pretty populated. You can get some good games going. And then while I was playing, suddenly I was forced offline a couple days ago, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Anyways, and then I check Twitter and see that there's a fucking big ass exploit happening, and these servers are all offline. And we'll get into that in the news, but it was just so wild because I'm like, I just completely randomly grabbed fucking DS2 and just went back to it, and it just so happens to also be a return to the game event followed by a huge bug that puts all FromSoft games at risk.
The biggest bug in a long time.
So now those games are offline, and well, whatever. Hopefully, they actually fix it and shit before they return it. But yeah, we'll get into that on the docket. There's multiple chapters to that story. But playing through it, I can see what people are saying about some of the enemy repositions and some of the jumps.
Iron Keep is ruined.
It's so...
Iron Keep is ruined, man.
But at the same time, I'm just also looking at it and... I'm looking at it with eyes of like, this was my first Souls game, and now coming back to it after this hot off the memory of one. Like, yeah, there's a lot that's there's a lot that I think is in that game that's still fun, and it's you don't want to shit on the whole experience when there's good stuff.
It's absolutely a great game. It's just a great game that they pieced together in like 8 months.
There's a bunch that I'm looking at it now and I'm going like, yeah, this is kind of just tonally trying to echo something and going like, hey, remember, and I mean, we already had all these discussions, but I'm just being reminded of
done.
That.
It's just literally not finished.
But like, I'll tell you what's fun is fucking power stancing a warped blade. That shit's cool.
You excited to have that back for Elden Ring?
Yeah.
It took up until the end of the network test for some people to even find out it was there because it's not even telegraphed. It just works. It's just a natural state of the way you hold weapons in that game.
Super fun to have that expanded moveset stuff in there,
Oh, that reminds me. There's a clip that came out of the new game show where somebody is power stancing whips and doing like the cross-ups and the fucking Belmont shit.
Yeah. No, I think it's just a game to look at and like there's a lot of cool shit to appreciate in it, but just don't like try too hard to be like this is building off of Dark Souls, like just kind of take it for its own thing. Also, though, the new invasions are basically like meme invasions. Where they're like replicating what an online experience is like. Someone shows up and does a little taunt and comes at you.
Great. Like that's great.
Like double Avalon, fucking people pulling their ass out at you, and Anyway, it's funny to see like this level of remix applied to the game. That I guess if it had this applied to it, then that de facto means that they were probably the least satisfied with the default release.
I think the biggest problem about Scholar of the First Sim is some areas are improved, some areas are worse, and the best version of DS2 is actually bits and pieces from both versions combined, which I don't think that exists. But like,
I don't know. I'm interested though to see, like, I caught bits and pieces of the new stuff with Aldia, and it seems interesting. So
it sucks.
I want to go see what that's about.
I'm telling you right now, it sucks shit. It's stupid.
Okay. Well, I'll find out shortly. Played some Marvel 3. And Marvel 3 is fucking reborn, revitalized. You want to talk about mods? You want to talk about what's happening over with the Dark Souls games?
Okay, so I saw a clip of Maya pulling out a gun. That must have been what I was seeing.
Yeah, that's the beginning of it. And Marvel 3 has had a modding scene for some time. But what it was essentially was a lot of people either doing like big reskins, recolors, and model modifications. But what the recent breakthrough has been is a model importer. So up until now, you couldn't bring in brand new models and into the game. You could only modify what existed, and then a lot of people were making new characters out of modifications. But now new shit can be dropped in completely, which means all of these brand new characters, which mechanically...
can I hold you there for a second? This boy's been barking to get out. We're going to need to take a break slightly early so I can get urine out of this dog.
All right, be right back.
I'm listening to you. Okay?
All right. So, yeah, just to pick up where I was going there, Marvel 3 has had a lot of community modding going on, and recently they've had a breakthrough where you can now import new models to the game. So that means new characters, new stuff, and
all sorts of stupid shit.
And some creators have made some, stuff that's not super polished, but others have done unbelievable things. And one of those has happened to release. I was going to take a look at this anyway, and then it just so happened that they put it together, all their creations in a pack. So Tabs MVC on Twitter, one of the creators here, has put out a pack that had, I think, 20 new characters in it. So basically,
I love new characters.
Like that a crazy amount of work. Lots of polish put into them as well. You can go and very easily get them installed. And what's nice is the new characters don't have to completely replace the old ones. They can just be linked to a specific costume pick. So,
okay.
For example, Devil May Cry 1 Dante is a character, and he has all the weapons and moves that DMC1 Dante has, specifically, and none of the stuff from the others. And
that's great.
And
does he have Drew Cones?
Pardon me? The voice? I don't think so. But you can put that, so that character's pick is on the alt color skin for Dante, so you can have the original game in there as is, and then just put others on top. And with him, they did a ton of fun stuff. Yeah, enemy step is in the game, so you can basically do that with your bolt cancels, and with like air raid and shit like that. Like it's fucking cool. Phoenix Wright, as you mentioned, with Maya permanently on the screen, you control her like a puppet character. And she does a bunch of shit, including pulling out a gun.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah. To which Phoenix is
She's
Maya?
been accused of murder enough times.
So there's that. You've got Stars Wesker and Stars Chris. Just
that's nice.
Regular soldiers putting in the work. Stars Wesker in particular is like, he's just no powers. He's just a normal guy trying his best. Red She-Hulk, and then in some cases what's really impressive too is they took characters wholesale from Infinite and put them back into 3.
That's great.
So Thanos and Captain Marvel are just lifted and dropped, no problems whatsoever, same combos, same everything, which means you can salvage the stuff in that game by bringing it back to Marvel 3. Fingers crossed for a Monster Hunter.
So what you're saying is that we don't need Marvel anymore. We have Marvel at home.
We have Marvel at home, and it's fantastic. Another creator is working on a Urian and a Bison. And Bison is like, similar enough to the way he played in X-Men Street Fighter, but Urian Hyper is hilarious. He's like doing Aegis Reflector like setups that are still fucking good in the Marvel world.
All you have to do to make Urian completely busted in a hyper setting is just don't have his moves need charge, and he's completely fucked, broken.
Well, which is, Gil is kind of like that, right? But you add a bit more here. Then you get like I said, the Marvel Infinite characters dropped in. Rashid, which is a no-brainer because Rashid is kind of like a hyper character anyway and would work perfectly.
He's also a meme lord, so he works well in this meme game that we've created.
And the poster for this entire modding thing has been Cyclops, because Cyclops is the most impressive thing. Cyclops has a model that looks like perfect for the game. His moveset is absolutely accurate to the way it played back in X-Men vs. Street Fighter and Children of the Atom. and then they have like a level 3 where he pulls off the visor and then just like opens his eyes at full blast. And
So, like, how long does this thing have to live?
I think it'll be fine based on the way this type of mod has played out in the past, with like stuff that just goes up on Game Banana that you can just download and throw over your files.
Did you say Game Banana?
Game Banana is one of the sites that has like mod repositories and like, you know, easy to search and grab stuff. I think it'll be fine. It's been fine with these types of things for a while. Marvel 3 in particular, like, one, there's no interest clearly on Capcom's behalf or on any official. There's no any official interest in Marvel versus Capcom, it seems, for the moment. So there's that. But this is just something that's been around forever that like doesn't seem like they've ever gotten in trouble for like putting up a mod that is a unique thing that you drag and drop over your own installation. You know, it's kind of like the Dark Souls mods you're playing with. It's like
the copyrights, the Cyclops. They don't have the rights to the Cyclops.
I mean, it when you put up characters on stuff has floated around on Game Banana for years, and it's been fine. I don't imagine this is going to be any different. I think it's getting a lot of attention right now because of how quality it is, but people have been putting Captain America in Guilty Gear Strive from launch. People have been putting nonsense into nonsense. I mean, this is like when I went back. Remember when we played Cross Tekken and I made the entire roster just model swaps with bullshit?
I do, yes.
It's like that, and that was never an issue either. You know?
Right up until they start making Marvel vs. Capcom 4 that doesn't have any of the characters people modded into the game and want, and go, wait, how come that character's not in the game? I made it myself!
Yeah. So what I think can happen, and is very plausible now with this new model importing tool, is they can just make a giant installation file that drops over your Marvel original the Steam installation, and they can put that out, have that hosted wherever, and that can be your fan-made sequel, so to speak. And if you're playing over Parsec, then you don't have to worry about quality check or CRC files, because it's you know, one person's computer and they're acting as the host, so it's fine.
You know, memes aren't illegal yet.
Sure.
So you're going to want to get a hold of this before memes are illegal.
Never say never, but I'd be very surprised if model swapping and you know, modding for these games goes through any change. And for this game, back when, you know, again, it's been Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, Cross Tech, like every game they've been putting out, this has just been regular fare. It's just coming.
Wait, so these are just model swaps? They don't have unique movesets?
No. They do have new unique movesets. It is a new unique moveset. It's new characters.
Okay, well this is more than a model swap then.
Yes, but I mean to say that model swapping in previous games has been like not something that they've legally pursued to any end. So who knows? That can change at any moment, but I would be surprised if this went that way. Either way, for now, community's got some fun shit going on, and go check it out. This is also where I bring up the creator that puts more detail into this than you would expect. It's not just about, hey, I want to put a fun red Hulk in the orange Hulk in the game, or red She-Hulk or something like that. Like, Tabs is paying attention to and detailing them in a way where, like, there's an evil Ryu, there's an Akuma. They're kind of busted in the ways that original Marvel characters can be busted.
Busted.
But like the attention to detail and how they play and everything, like, is very real and viable. You know, I can absolutely see a concentrated effort in the future of like just a fan-made Marvel 4 coming with every character having a secondary character slot underneath them. The only limitation is that, let's say I pick Ken, and you want to pick the original character Ken is on top of, who's like Iron Fist. Whoever picks him first, that moveset applies to the mirror match as well. So
that's weird.
Unfortunately, you cannot get the same character to have a mirror match between the two between the two movesets. But you can have the original or the new one, whenever you want if you're picking them first. So yeah, Marvel 3 modding is awesome right now. Go check that shit out.
That's great, dude.
We got a new episode, Get Into Fighting Games, coming out where we take a look at some of the best going on with that. Stay tuned.
I desperately, desperately want a situation in which they announce Marvel vs. Capcom 4, but there's already a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, and everyone's like, I don't get it. This looks like shit compared to my version that has Cyclops.
You want the character, then not. You want Gene? You want fucking God Hand? Put him in. We can do it now. Just make it. No one will stop you. Yeah, Marvel 4 at home, and it turns out your mom's a better cook than McDonald's.
I mean, yeah. Not my mom, but like a lot of people's moms.
You've been
I love
playing...
you, Mom.
You better sandwich that. Because she can't.
My mom knows I love her very much.
She can't.
She's just not the best cook.
She can't sandwich shit.
My mom puts butter on her rice. That's what we're talking about here.
Hey, you play any Wordle? You play Wordle?
Yeah. Undefeated.
Yeah.
7 days in a row.
How fun is that?
Yeah, me and Paige are getting real toxic about Wordle.
I'm getting in.
We're lying in bed, and whoever finishes first just starts talking just shit at the other person. Oh, wow, looks like you didn't get all your vowels out, huh? Oh, so that's tough. You should try and get more of those vowels.
I've gotten into Wordle, and I've been and I showed it to Punch Mom in an attempt to see if she would take the bite, but seems not to be too interested. I love like a fucking word game. I played way too much of that Scrabble app when it came out, or Words with Friends rather. So I'm down for this type of thing. I've been fucking training for it, and there's a bunch of secondary ones like Loodle, where it's like a dirty word per day, or Absurdle is like a Wordle that fights you and changes its answers as you guess correctly.
I'm not playing that.
Yeah, it's insane.
I just want regular ass Wordle, and I want to see how high I can get the streak.
Yeah, and I'm going good on Wordle right now as well, exactly. But the interesting thing is that when you play the variants that are like, and there's even like Wordle Unlimited, you kind of start to realize that like, oh, you can game this and use strategies to like.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and I think by going into the Unlimited, I kind of was like, oh shit, I've developed some approaches that I otherwise wouldn't have if I was doing this once per day. So
yeah, no, I do the regular ass once per day, and me and Paige are engaged in a long running battle because we disagree about the way to get your letters.
Do you have an opening gambit word?
Me and Paige both have completely different methods for trying to guess the word, and we are both convinced that the other one's is stupid.
I'm gonna guess
ours is superior.
I'm gonna guess that yours is put in a solid spread word and then try to build off of whatever is highlighted. If nothing is highlighted, then try something else completely differently. And I'm gonna guess that hers is put in a word, even if you get correct highlights on the first one, make a completely different word on the second line that doesn't include those letters in the hopes of discovering more of the uncovered.
You have it opposite.
Oh my god.
So my method.
Okay.
I have 3 words that I use that cover RSTLNE and all 6 vowels that I just play. And if I get correct ones, I won't include the ones that, would overlap. Pages, she wants to get the green letter. She wants to find out where it is, and then start brain smoking like what possible words could fit with this placement.
I agree with that, and that has worked for me perfectly so far, because by process of elimination, then you reduce a ton of randomized options. So whenever you see the like a correct highlight when the replay comes out, and you see the correct highlight, and then the next guesses are gray and gray, and it's like, oh, you had information, but you threw it away for discovery. For me, I've gotten like 2 or 3 line discoveries of like, oh, you just nailed the word on the third try.
Yeah, so
right?
For me, I want to knock out 15 letters, including all 6 vowels,
on your first 3 tries. Yeah, okay.
Immediately.
Okay.
Because in particular, the past couple days, there have been words that have double letters, that have multiple of the same
that one.
Vowel.
Fuck that one from 2 days ago. Fuck 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that one,
bullshit.
That was a bullshit one. But I think that while I get where your approach, what I don't like with that is that you cannot get it in 1 or 2. You will have to get it in 4 minimum.
It's long. So not necessarily true, because the first word I'm going to tell everyone, don't use it. It's mine. The first word that I always play is stray, because Y is hard. Y is hard to fit into another vowel word.
Okay.
Right. So, and it also covers RST. Right. So I start with that. If I get none of them, yes, I might have to do 3 of the random ones. Right. But it's pretty often that I get a yellow somewhere in there, right?
Okay.
And then if I do, and sometimes I get a green, and if I get a green, then the whole remainder of the plan changes, because I have a lockdown, and so I start thinking of words that could possibly fit this and don't fit this.
So
the benefit to doing the 3 is that you bang out 15 letters when you're even if they're all even if you only have a single yellow, right? Which you're going to have because it covers all the vowels, right? You only have 11 letters left to make the whole rest of the word, which cuts it, the amount of words possible, down by like a factor of 1 million.
I open with media, because you're getting
Media's good. Media's really good.
3 vowels off the bat is excellent, and it's not just 3 vowels.
Good.
It's the 3 most common used vowels. So you get M out of the way, you get D out of the way, which are pretty common, frequently seen consonants.
Yeah.
But 3 vowels in your first strike, you're getting information no matter what. I think that's the best opening word for me. And then from that,
somebody in the chat just said audio.
That's good too.
Oh,
that's pretty fucking good. 4 vowels and audio. Solid.
Rouse.
Solid.
These are good.
Yeah. Radio as well can give you 3, if you want to, if you're going without the E. But the vowels in your first word, I think, are what matter the most, because then by paring it down to like whichever 2, you have a much reduced vocabulary of 5-letter words that have these 2 vowels in particular. You know, you're not always going to get the duplicates, of course, but like the info you get off of your vowels, for me, is how I approach the rest
people
of this.
Are pointing out that Edzier works.
That's 4.
That's too strong.
That's 4. That ain't bad. Yeah, I don't like the Y could be interesting, but I think vowels are the most informative.
Yeah, well, vowels are important in English. Because like I had the one the other day, the one that was fucked, right?
Yeah.
I discovered that there was only 1 vowel in it.
Yeah.
It was dead center in the word.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, we're speaking English here. There's only like 10 words in which this is even possible, that you have 2 consonants at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Right.
I was staring at that one like, you fucking cunt of a word. Like, what?
Dude, I was like this close, because I had it completely right except for the first letter, and on guess number like 5, and I'm like, well, it has to be the other one then.
Yeah, and the
I bet Kennedy had paid more attention to that Wordle.
No burp. And it's in looking to see what the other Wordle variants are like, I checked. I found there's a bunch now. There's one that's Sweardle, where it's like guess the 4-letter swear word. And
fuck. It's fuck every day.
Well, so that's the thing is like right off the bat, I was like, okay, hold on a second. Arse is one of the results here. Fuck this. I'm not playing this. Like I'm not getting swear words from other countries in other.
That's not fair. Those aren't real words.
Exactly. Fuck that. I said I like English only. Fucking arse. Get
I
out
don't know
of
what
here.
they speak in Scottyland or whatever, but it ain't English.
Yeah. So, that Wordle has taken the world by storm, and good on them. They deserve it because, it's like I think a dude made it because like his wife is really into puzzle games and then word puzzles, and then it was a private game, and then they just made it public because it's like, oh, this is really fun. I was like, oh yeah,
yeah. By far the most important part of Wordle is not actually Wordle because it's easy as shit. It's just a 5-letter word letter game with 6 tries. It's trivial as shit, and it's actually really easy. The good part about Wordle is talking about how easy it is over people that haven't solved the day's puzzle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, yeah, no, it was a tough one, but I mean, it's just letters. I mean, I know a lot of words, and if you can't get it, it just means you're stupid.
How about that education system, huh? What's it like? We can start talking about all kinds of angles you can take on that one.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one. Like the most fun I've had playing Wordle by far is the other night. Me and Paige, it's 12:30. We're lying in bed, and I go, "Oh, honey, the new Wordle's out." She goes, "Oh, great." So we pop up the new Wordle. We're working on it. The really tough one, like the really tough one, and couple 10-15 minutes in, like I do it. I was like, "Oh, that was a tough one." And then she's like, "Oh my god, I don't know. Oh, don't help me though. Like, if we help each other, I would hate to be helped on this one." And so would she. So she shows me it, and she's writing the correct word with the 2 L's at the end of it. She's writing it entirely, but she keeps writing it with an E at the end of it, and going, "Well, that's impossible." Right? And she couldn't do it. She had to sleep on it. And like I was like, "Oh, I could help you. It's a tough word. If you really want some help, you could." And she's just like, "No, I have to do it myself." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And that sanctimonious piece of shit smugness is where this game is really at. That's where it really comes in. Because and then the next day, Paige said she was hanging out upstairs. She messaged me on Discord. She said Wordle in 2 minutes. And then 3 minutes after midnight, she yells down, "Did it!" And I'm like, I'm still here going like, oh no. Oh,
yeah. It grays out the E. That's gray. You shouldn't click it anymore. There's a meme of like people on a roller coaster, and they're just like, wee, and they're going upwards, and it's like Wordle players during the day, and then on the other side, it's a bunch of zombies and skeletons coming down on the other roller coaster, and it's like Wordle players at midnight. Yeah, Wordle is the shit.
My favorite version of that meme is like skeletons who want to be my friend, and then you're like, me surprised but also excited to be friends with skeletons. I don't know why. It's just like skeletons are hilarious. They've always been funny. I love them. They're my friends.
Go play Wordle, and then
you can be a skeleton also.
Yeah, and you can if you want to be smug to people, but you don't have anyone in your immediate vicinity, you can post your green and yellow block configuration on Twitter, and then people can see how fast you solved it, and be like, "Damn, that guy's the coolest. I can't believe he solved it so fast." I saw somebody that posted like first guess 5 letters, all green. And I'm like, fuck you.
Fuck off. You cheated.
You're a piece of shit
bitch.
cheating cunt.
You're a liar.
You're not even real. How dare you? How dare you come at me with this energy?
You piece of shit.
I'll fucking fight you.
You fucking liar. You fucking piece of garbage.
I'll throw bows out. Fuck you. Wild.
No, that's a lie. That's a fucking lie.
Absolute wild.
No one gets that. No, that's crap. I'll fight you. I'll get into a fist fight.
It's crazy. It's crazy. The audacity to think they can get away with it. You know, you're just gonna post that.
Consequences will never be the same.
Just the biggest cap in the world. I don't know if you've seen those pictures of dudes with like humongous caps, just capping. Anyways, good times with Wordle.
It's maybe it's because we're old now, but it's a really fun little thing to do.
Yeah,
it's fun.
No, dude, I was playing Words with Friends, and when I was playing it, like there was some times where it would be like, oh, hey, there's my cousin, she's playing, let's get a game in, or so. But then there'd also just be like random strangers, and me and this old lady just had a rivalry going for a while, and she was a beast at fucking Scrabble. Mm-hmm. It was crazy, but I had a ton of fun just like coming at her with these like real fucking hard words and getting the triple letter and the triple score on the same the triple word and triple letter score on the same word. Like, fuck you, what now? And she would keep up. It was wild, but we had
Thingy, shut up.
I had a rivalry, I'm down with the word games, man. Hell yeah. All right. So anyways, you can check out Dark Souls continuing, Silent Hill continuing as well. And we also just started putting out some best of videos. You can have some fun collections from the 2021 LPs as well over at Wooly Versus on Twitch, Wooly Versus on YouTube. And yeah, we are in the middle of Miles Morales as well. That is that game's hot. Loving it. Shit is full of costumes where Spider-Man is wearing casual clothes over the outfit.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It looks so good. I love it. So for more Miles Morales, come check out the LP, and we're going to be starting something new as well. I think we'll have
something new. Oh my god, what is it?
I'm gonna do a little more investigating to make sure that this is good for LPing. But I think I'm gonna start Everhood, which is it's a Undertale like rhythm game that dropped that looks pretty fucking cool. It looks dope, so I want to see what that's about, and it seems like it's gonna be a fun time. The battle system is on a rhythm. Highway, a note highway, and you move up and down the note highway fighting. It looks super slick. So I think we'll have time for that. So that's gonna be Wooly Versus. All right, quick word from our sponsors.
Let's get a quick word from our sponsors.
As they load.
Good old loaded sponsors. My favorite type of sponsor is a loaded sponsor.
Well, if they're loaded, then they can load you.
Yeah. Give me those loads.
Soak.
Now.
Soak to get the load.
This is like a quadruple entendre conversation. This is impressive.
Well, it's probably not the kind of conversation you want to have right before you tell people to try out DoorDash, but that's what we're about to do. So hey, this week the podcast is sponsored by DoorDash, who are in the business of keeping you alive. Food keeps you alive.
I do like that.
So this sponsor is good for that. For staying alive. I like being alive.
I like it.
And doing so efficiently because they're getting you your food delivered straight to your door without any fuss. You're all getting household essentials delivered straight to your door. You're getting groceries delivered. whatever little things you need, which gives you more time to, get your errands done, do your meetings, take care of whatever else is happening that's more important. If you forgot anything, if there's whatever, you can just get them to pull up, drop it off, ring the doorbell, and peace out. It's that simple. And of course, this is not just including the big chains, but it's also the locals, the go-tos, the places in your neighborhood that you would otherwise want to go and support. A lot of them are on DoorDash. That's over 300,000 partners from all kinds. You got your Chipotle, Popeyes, Cheesecake Factory, to name a few. And like I said, the contactless delivery is the way to do it. That's how it's been for me. And you can even get, for a limited time, 25% off and 0 delivery fees on your first order of $15 or more when you download the DoorDash app and enter the code CASTLE. So that's 25% off up to a $10 value and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter the code CASTLE. Don't forget code CASTLE for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Thank you, DoorDash.
Thanks, DoorDash.
It's necessary. I've been doing it every week. It's just
for today's world. It's important. It's important.
And excuse me. This week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh, who are in the business of keeping you alive. Keeping you alive is very important.
I love being alive.
Being alive is pretty all right. A lot of the time, you want to be alive so you can do things, and to do things, you need time. And so you can get that because HelloFresh can hook you up with America's #1 meal kit. Whether you're trying to eat healthy, you're trying to get yourself, back in shape, or just Zoom shape, shape to at least have the shoulders up view of you look good. You don't need to see the mess that's happening below the camera. I'll tell you what. You should consider cropping that camera a little closer. You can. Okay. Well,
why? Because of this? Why? Because you pondering? You pondering this?
I mean, there's all kinds of damage that can be hidden as long as we keep it up here.
No, the real damage is down here. What does that mean? I thought that would sound cool. It didn't sound cool at all.
HelloFresh is going to get you some farm fresh produce that arrives within a week. The convenience of skipping out on that grocery trip. They're giving you quick and easy meals, 20-minute recipes, low prep, perfectly measured. You can put it all together and feel accomplished because, hey, you did it. Sure, they helped, but you did it. You're the final step, and you can feel good about that. Even though it's basically stolen valor for the chefs here, but that's fine. No one has to know. If you're doing veggery, if you're doing veggie meals, if you're doing calorie smart, family friendly, gourmet options. Whatever type you need, you can look into it. And I've been going keto for a while now. In general, I if I'm not doing that, then I'm doing low carb. My body tends to respond pretty nicely to that. And they've had a pretty good couple of low carb recipes with some grilled chicken and some fancy spices I've been enjoying. You can even get yourself some hibachi served soy bavette steak and shrimp as well. Fancier stuff than you're going to do, folks. So check out HelloFresh. You want to go to HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast16 and use code SuperBeast16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's HelloFresh.com/SuperBeast16 and use code SuperBeast16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. That's America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh. Thank you very much.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna get more of that chicken. That chicken was good. I liked it. Right. Okay, there's a couple things going on. Let's make it through in a reasonable time frame.
No.
Okay. Well, we can always wait 24 hours and see if the entire industry turns on its head.
Yeah, we could do that.
That's always fun. I mean, listen, I want to say like it was the second that the last week's episode came out, but you know, it was the next day. Either way, it was in time for me to basically click the upload button and then watch as the Microsoft acquiring Blizzard news dropped, and you're like, fuck everything. You know, but to be fair, we talked about a whole bunch of what was leading up to that to begin with anyways. So what are you going to do?
Did.
So yeah, hot on the heels of Kotick Gate, which has been going on for about a couple decades now, really.
Mm-hmm.
I just caught a story that completely fucking buried over in November where he threatened to kill an assistant, or he threatened like some crazy shit that he threatened murder on somebody.
Yeah, I'll kill you.
Yeah,
bitch, I'll kill you.
Straight up. So, the end of the timeline is that Bobby Kotick was holding out in order to get this deal done. Because that's the ultimate job, was when you come in as a CEO, you take the ship, and you steer it. Big profits, right? You crunch all the people into death, and you roll over the bodies, and you build and build and build. And then before you exit disgracefully, you make an acquisition deal. You know, that's how you do it. And you put yourself on the bottom line. You get a big cut of that. Some of the numbers that people were putting out in terms of like what he would walk away with based on if he left the company for his own fault or not his fault were all upwards of $250 million. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's $390 million is what I saw.
Fucking insanity.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, not to be understated in this entire thing.
Okay, man, good job. You drove all your franchises into the ground, burned every possible bridge, and presided over the worst PR / state litigation fiasco any game company has ever dealt with. Here's $250 million.
You can't make me leave. You're going to have to come in and physically pull me out. I don't care. Also, you're going to have to get through my homies who are going to serve as the ads to my boss fight, because I've installed them around me, and then I will be a fucking, skeleton lord sitting up here, and you got to come get some if you want it. The deal is going down. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard to the tune of some $68 billion. It's going to happen between July of this year and next year. Seems like it'll take about a year for all that to go down. That's going to bring all of the Blizzard games to Game Pass. It does not imply that all Blizzard games will be Microsoft exclusive. Apparently, a deal was held in which Sony contracts were discussed, and they're going to uphold their existing contracts. Call of Duty will not be exclusive right away, but there's no promises that that's going to stay that way.
So it's this story is kind of great because it happened after last week's podcast, and I talked about it, and I think you did as well on our individual streams the following day. And my take on the story was one thing, and then there was more news, and then that take on the story changed slightly. So overall, for the average person who buys or is in any way interested in Activision Blizzard products, the acquisition by Microsoft is a net gain, because from what I know of people who work at Microsoft, and I know a couple, and I'm sure you do as well, Wooly, Microsoft is kind of a cult, but that's the worst thing people say about it, is that it's the tribe and it's the cult and all that stuff, but they're definitely not a rape factory like Ubisoft or Activision Blizzard or maybe Riot. So that's good for the employees in the short term. Microsoft doesn't tend to abide by these types of managers. They just quietly disappear. As for people who are wanting to play games that are good, getting purchased by Microsoft is probably better, because Kotick was personally responsible for taking stuff like Tony Hawk and Skylanders and Guitar Hero and just grinding them into the dirt until they were done and throwing them away.
So that's the thing, right? Is humongous sex crimes aside, there's the part where the franchises that they had that people cared about were turned into ones that people don't fucking give a shit about. And Guitar Hero in particular is notable because in that one, he literally said, like, yeah, we're going to just use this until there's no blood left in this stone. Like, it was a very clear decision once Rock Band started happening that the attempt to control the narrative to pretend that Rock Band was the imitator and Guitar Hero was where all the originals were, as if harmonics was still around at that point. And realizing that people were sick of plastic instruments, he's like, let's get what little we can left out of this until we kill it off completely by putting out even more Guitar Hero games.
Yeah, so like you're much more likely to see Guitar Hero or Tony Hawk or Skylanders or Spyro or Crash continue to exist under Microsoft than you ever were going to under Activision, and that's good. People like those. There was one specific thing, though, and it was really weird because it was Kotick's not going to leave. No, wait, he is. That was like one day later, if you remember.
That's what I ended up talking about the next day, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's weird. And then I'm like, I think that the bottom line for almost everyone, except for maybe Sony, with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard King, is that it's going to be a pretty positive change for people who buy games and people who make games. With the sole exception of the people at Activision Blizzard who were in the process of unionizing. Because moving over to Microsoft, and this, I said this on Tuesday afternoon. Microsoft purchasing all them gives them a really good excuse to restructure everybody into different departments and then figure out who's redundant and who doesn't need to be there anymore. And then that, could make the union stuff go bye-bye. And on top of that, and this is the real genius, if they were to do it, Kotick is leaving, but Kotick is leaving in 18 months. So if it does come out that these changes were to be made to destroy unions or union sympathizing, whatever, you could just blame it on the publicly maligned CEO who was still in control for a year, but who's gone now. It was that guy's fault. He's gone. And it definitely wouldn't be a condition of the buying that we'll pay you X amount of dollars to leave as long as you clean this up and this up and this up and this up and bail. That would be crazy. And then on Wednesday, it was announced that fucking the Raven Software QA team that recently unionized is being folded into individual studios and completely broken up and dissolved.
So there's a sub-story going on exactly with this in that Raven Software QA, who are the Call of Duty Warzone QA team, were the first North American group to actually get a union together. And they after getting that done, immediately the next step was to get recognition from Blizzard because that's what you need to finalize the unionization process, is to get that recognition. they had a supermajority of support, so they were basically rushing to get that step done. And pretty much as of today, the story came out that even though they successfully managed to get the union created, much of the team is being divided and spread into.
Could you hold on a second? I got somebody at the door.
Oh, yep, sure. Right. So, yes, the sub story happening was that Raven Software workers had just announced that they are calling off the strike because they were pending the recognition of the union, which as they said, we're operating in good faith, and we're going to end the strike pending that goes through. And immediately afterwards came the announcement that an organizational change was going to take place, in which pretty much all of the union members were going to be broken up and spread out across multiple teams in embedded QA efforts. So, like the fact that that happens regularly, that is a thing that is normal. Is you will put people into like different locations and take certain testers and put 2 or 3 together, and they'll work closer with the devs in specific manners and in specific ways. But the fucking timing on this, especially given the announcement and everything hand in hand, like, come the fuck on, right? It's not at all hard to see that.
What are you gonna do about it?
And the funny thing is that's coming, but here's the thing: is it's coming hand in hand with a very delicate, crafted, worded message that says, "And we support the employees, and we're very but the jerk, and then here you go, right? You break that, you split that shit up as best as you can without actually culling the herd. You get them away from each other and such. Hopefully, we'll see that the efforts that have already been put forth are going to maintain, and that this doesn't amount to anything but an upset of time and not the complete effort and progress that's been made so far. But it's expect to see these types of moves where instead of shutting the entire Walmart down, you're going to do something that's a little more optically friendly and just shuffle some people around.
I mean, Wooly, you have to remember, in many areas, when they shut the whole Walmart down, they just send the employees that work at that Walmart to nearby Walmarts, but just make sure to split them up, which is exactly what this is. Okay, we're closing the studio down. Oh, we're fired? No, that'd be horrible. You're just all going to work at different studios apart, where I have personally picked the head of that studio. And if you say union, he will stab you with mean non-positive affirmative language.
Well, so this ends up being the thing now, right? It's okay, so do you spread the virus? Do you spread it by taking it from where it was contained and distributing it into other groups and teams, and then you've now put unionization as a concept? No, I mean this is something that I'm fully hoping that the fact that they got this far with this and we're seeing what they have means other people are already pushing and trying and getting it further along. This entire thing has proven though that you can successfully do it, you can get there. And they will take the optics nightmare on, but there's a number of people that you can reach where it's not worth it, right? And as you've been mentioning as well, there's the part where Call of Duty in the background has been suffering that. So this whole thing, of course, is happening, and this, like I said, they said this ownership, this process of purchase should take about a year. I'm curious to see how much of Microsoft stepping in they're coming in, they're taking on all these harassment claims, they're taking on all these all the shit that Activision is going through. It's gonna be the way they're talking about it is just all happy flowery language, of course, as you would with any deal of this size. But when it comes down to it, I'm like, how many of these things are you going to use the old guard as the excuse as to how you can get rid of this problem, and instead of actually improving it and fixing it for your employees?
Well, as many as it takes for people to rise up and eat them in the streets.
I suppose so.
Is how long?
So that's what's happening with the Call of Duty QA team. In the meantime, the overall effect that Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard has on the industry, though, is fucking insanely huge. This is, I don't know what the last thing of this size was, but I mean, shit, would it be Vivendi Activision Blizzard? It's.
I don't even remember. Yeah,
this is humongous in its implication, and Microsoft is no stranger to pretty much acquiring what they want and using that competitively. I mean, we've also been seeing Epic do that with the Epic Game Store, right? The method of you can compete or you can wait for a thing to exist and then just buy it and make it exclusive on your side of the fence.
You made this?
I made this.
I made this.
Anything that they're saying they're adhering to their contracts and they're going to keep certain franchises on Sony on a PlayStation for now, don't to me, I'm give that a year or two tops, because you don't spend this kind of money and not capitalize on it in every single sense of the word. You know?
Yeah, well, you have to run out your legally mandated contracts, but after that, who knows?
Like you're spending this much money to compete, not with even PC, but with Sony. Like, why would you continue to allow them to have that? You know? So there's no way that you're going to see that cross-platform stuff continue to be a thing going 1 maybe 2 years down the line. It's gonna very much clearly be a Xbox exclusive future for a lot of these properties. The other thing too is, in the list of all the Activision Blizzard properties, you got fucking Candy Crush money. And
Candy Crush is forever.
That's no joke. Candy Crush is right up there on the banner with every other notable character and franchise. So yeah, man, this is a big one. It should be. Anyways, I feel as if it's gonna take
wait to see
a
no
while.
Results from this for 5 years.
That's what I was about to say. It's gonna take a while for all the stories to shake loose here. It's gonna be an ongoing thing. It'll probably be a fucking like week by week. How is it like what is this becoming? And God, I hate the idea of like these super hyper mergers, in the sense that like when people mass resign from a company because it's being shit, and then they turn around and end up working somewhere that ends up being owned by that same company anyways.
Nobody's ever gotten it worse than Patrice Désilets.
It fucking sucks, man. It fucking sucks, right? Leaves, and then Ubi just steps in and is like, oh, well, we want it. How much is it going to take? You can't run away. You know? That shit is horrifying, and the mega acquisitions are just in general for the human race not a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Bobby, in the short term, is the worst possible thing.
Oh yeah.
So where this shakes out between the overall good and the long-term harm is going to be a fucking decade-long process to see how it turns out.
I have a question though. Now that Bobby Kotick's going to be leaving his big CEO job and his island filled with kids is no longer available to visit, what's he going to do with his time?
I mean, try to go on a couple dates. And
try to convince women he's not the devil.
Hopefully they haven't seen Satan JPEGs of him. Maybe. More importantly, what about his ads to the boss fight? Will they continue to be around?
Yeah, probably.
Or do you clear out the entire zone? You know? What about all
don't ask me what I would do.
What about all the worshippers that are bowing, who you can target and kill, but they're otherwise not hostile before you enter the boss arena? You know? You know, you walk...
Who knows?
You walk by a bunch of them and you're like, well, you're evil and you're worshipping the boss over here, and we can target you, so I can't talk to you. But what... do we get a couple souls out of this or not? What do we do here? Try out our new weapon?
These sound like good ideas. Also, I should point out that the 3Bs gets funnier every day.
Undying.
That is the greatest email we have ever received. Now, 2 of the 3 are owned by Microsoft. Come on, BioWare.
The 3Bs. Bapcom, Platinum Games, Brumsoft.
Good old Brumsoft.
Brumsoft rules.
What about Bumsoft? That's probably better.
Oh, man. Well, anyway. Speaking of Brumsoft.
Speaking of.
So we teased it earlier, but the story came out, and it was not very good. There was when the story comes out via Twitter warning to not play a game. That's
never the best.
It's not a good at all. But that's what happened here. I got a tweet that was basically telling everyone, "Hey, fucking be careful," because an RCE exploit has been found and leaked for Dark Souls 3. And then supposedly all other games in the franchise as well. That's a remote code execution, meaning that hackers can run arbitrary code on your machine without permission. It's a serious exploit that can cause lasting damage to your computer and all of its contents. They can take hold of your PC and do whatever they want. Brick the computer, steal logins, execute malicious code, whatever the fuck. So please be careful.
So that was what was going around. However, there is a slight addendum I have to make to that.
Yeah, well, I have the addendum.
Oh,
here.
you have it there? Okay.
Yes, great. And it's important because it's not quite the same as someone found and released malicious code into the wild. So there's a secondary report here that more or less specifies. I'll try to sum things up. Says Dalvik from a Discord server. Sorry, I'm just leaning in to read this. So it specifies that a person, so basically someone who found this tried to contact FromSoft through multiple channels, and they ignored him. And so in an attempt to raise awareness about this severe security flaw, they did a benign but live showcase on stream. So it didn't leak. It was that someone showed off that they had discovered this, but they had not released it to the public. And on stream, they proved that it is real. He then got in contact with a bunch of people, and it seems like now they've gotten word of it, and so they're taking it seriously with that demonstration. And they've taken all the servers for Dark Souls offline. So
yeah, so I want to go into slightly more detail. This gentleman found this thing a while ago and has been attempting to contact From Software or Namco for months, apparently. And they just From Software is basically non-contactable at all. They don't really have a PR division, so their publishers always handle all that crap. And Namco was like, whatever, dude, who cares? And that's why they staged the demonstration of just how bad it could be. He demonstrated an invader turning the game off and then running a text-to-speech script as a demonstration of like, this is just how bad it could be. Like, if I could do this, I could do anything. So then Bandai Namco was like, and they've all been pulled down, and they're currently working on a fix, particularly since the bug is present in Dark Souls 3 and other Dark Souls 3 bugs are present in Elden Ring. Had this not been fixed pretty much within the next couple weeks,
now
Elden Ring would have shipped with this.
I would assume that this person's intentions being good here were to contact them and have this issue discreetly fixed.
Yeah.
So that this doesn't become
an option.
A targeted potential exploit that others can reinvent once he's already done it. But if they're not going to listen, then this is how it has to go down. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Nightmare, dude. Like the idea of somebody just invading, like Dark Souls invasions are bad enough. With people killing you or scraping spear you or screwing up your save file or stealing your bank account information now.
So that's it. Like DS1 in particular, you have to put the PvP watchdog on to avoid all kinds of nonsense, which is what we did. And it did its job and it worked, thank God. DS2, Scholar of the First Sin, as I was going back to it and looking into it, I was like, oh yeah, is there a watchdog for DS2? And it's like, nope, there isn't. Because if you used one, you'd get banned probably. So anyone who wants to fuck around in DS2 can do so, and they'll get caught in a ban wave eventually, but that doesn't stop them in the moment they're doing the stuff until that ban wave catches up with them.
There's a weird reality with Dark Souls 3 is that so many people have been banned incorrectly or for running mods that the blacklist servers that you connect to have less hacking much of the time than the actual real servers.
Jesus.
Because
Yeah.
people who hack the game to fuck with other people do so in such a way that the anti-cheat doesn't pick up on.
And if you get kicked for running an anti-cheat or a watchdog, then like you have no fucking defense. Like, yeah, that sucks.
Depending on the performance, I'm probably going to be playing Elden Ring on LP form on my PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Well, console is unaffected by all of this, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It could be, but the hoops you would have to jump through are
the same exploits are most certainly there, but exactly the limitation of.
Well, I mean, it's not interacting with like Windows, right? So it's
and you're exactly you're jumping through more hurdles to access the code directly and manipulate it. Anyway, so heads up on that, and that's why the servers are down, and we'll see if and when they get back up. But at least they fucking paid attention.
Eventually.
What else is going on? Well, we finally have an announcement. Nagoshi Studio has been established. So, Toshihiro Nagoshi, who left the Yakuza franchise behind recently, we were talking about.
The Yakuzas.
Sure did. Has now founded Nagoshi Studio with NetEase Games, and he's also announcing the initial staff members, who are the other founders, including Daisuke Sato, and everyone who basically founded the RGG studio staff. So we'll see what the fuck that comes from. But maybe by leaving the shackles behind, now he can be purely funded on Yakuza bucks. maybe the street crime money can 100% fund these games from now on. Who knows?
Hey, I have a question. I have a linguistic question about Japanese and Chinese that you may not be able to answer, but people in the chat may be able to answer because I do not speak those languages or read or write them. Is the character for dragon the same in Chinese and Japanese? I'm very curious.
Ryu? I don't know.
Are there any differences between them at all?
I know it's Ryu, but I don't know if it's the same.
They are the same? Okay. Because I had this mental image of if the characters have any differences, he could just make a new series called Like a Dragon, but with the Chinese characters.
With a different read on it? Yeah. No, see, well, the fun part about
the new series will be called Triads Are Like Dragons.
See, the fun part about Japanese is that in English we have to do things like, Brumsoft Games presents Bart Souls, but in Japanese you can just change the letters or the kana and create the same word again with a different reading.
By the way, I was here's a fun little language fact, and I laughed myself silly because this is like the most passive aggressive language dig I've ever heard of in my life. Are you familiar with the kanji in Japanese for woman, what it looks like?
I'm not familiar with what it looks like, but
okay,
I'm assuming
so I discovered that the symbol for woman, if you put 3 in a little triangle, is the kanji for noisy.
Urusai? Damn. Commit that shit to language, to paper forever. Forever. Oh, man.
It's hilarious.
Grandmasters with their brushstrokes. Like, Just
my wife won't stop bitching at me. I'm gonna get her.
You know, no matter where you go, there you are, huh? This world is... There's nothing new under the sun, man.
The battle between the sexes rages on forever.
Well, maybe if they fucking quieted down a bit, we
Oh, by the way, I should make an apology here. You guys might notice the dog is a little barkier than normal. That's because I'm keeping him down to the basement. Normally, I would let him upstairs and he would go bother Paige, Peach Saliva. However, she is currently laid up in bed as this morning she received her booster. And unlike you or I, Wooly, having your booster with your autoimmune disorder means that she is fucked. So I'm on dog duty permanently for the next couple days. So apologies if Geef's a little louder or a little less well behaved today.
Gotta do it. Did it get worse, by the way, afterwards, or were you okay?
No, I was fine. You
were okay afterwards? Okay.
Yeah, I saw Paige once today, and it was a few minutes ago, as she stumbled downstairs, drank some milk, and then wandered away.
It might have to do with if you're going triple P or PPM. You know, that might.
I went triple P.
Yeah, same for her.
Yeah. No, I think she had Moderna first.
I
don't know what she got this morning because I was asleep when she went.
Anyway, so that's what's going on. We'll see what else has to come from it. But it sounds like you're getting another Kojima game style thing, so that's cool.
You know what I would love? Fucking pseudo sequel to Binary Domain. The best game that team ever made that nobody cares about.
I certainly don't. Sure.
That game's great. It has a French robot who has a little red scarf.
You know what? I've heard enough people telling me that it's pretty good though. So I'm like, okay.
That game's incredible. Like I no joke.
No
like,
joke.
You can look at the chat. Like that game is a fantastic shooter.
Over the years, people have basically come at me like, Big Bo aside, it's pretty good. I'm like, okay.
Big Bo also rules. If you can get past his stereotypical status, but they're all stereotypes. So it's okay, right?
I mean, you know, I'm already on board with the children dancing and singing Virgin, Virgin, you know, in Yakuza. The weirdest of where that goes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. That's how, like, much of the stupid shit is.
Oh, it's the car racing guy, you know.
Oh, yeah, fuck you. Oh, what's his name again? Oh, I hate that bitch.
I forget, but it was great.
He's such a goddamn loser. I hate him.
And it's about 10 minutes after you forgive the child sex traffickers because,
yeah, well, you know they're poor, so...
Speaking of traffickers and human exploitation, the latest trailer for Palworld has released.
Oh, hell yeah, Palworld!
And
the trailer really takes steps to show the misery of the assembly line pals.
So I'm watching the trailer trying to figure out what's the meta here because it's very clear what is overt. And from what I can tell, it seems to be that the gunplay, all kidding aside, is being taken seriously.
Oh yeah, 100%. It looks like real shooting.
Like, it's not just the ridiculous visual of you and your Pokemon buddy pulling out your fucking Glock. It's actually like, no, you're gonna have gunplay. It's real. You're gonna have to sit here and be constantly in shooter mode for a regular part of the game. And then there's the fusions, so that you got your demon fusion mechanics going and all that stuff. And then, yep, we got our cute little factory animals passing out on the assembly line once again. And, you know, no indicator of, like, what that assembly line gameplay will be, you know? Is it just going to be, like, a Factorio thing, or are you going to have to step in and like replace the dead workers? Or is there efficiency calls you're going to make?
Is there a shovel button to get the Pikachus into the truck to make more room for new Pikachus?
Yeah, because it's an action game when you're on the ground with your guns shooting out all the Pokemon. But when you do the management and the factories, does it then become 4X? This is what we need to know.
It's not clear.
So,
I'll tell you what is clear, very shockingly. So, there was a game called Craftopia by the same developer.
Yes.
Which is an early access open world survivor game, which is jank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you taken a look at its Steam page?
No, but I remember you brought up Craftopia last time we discussed Palworld.
So I just sent you a screenshot of the Steam page. They had an update in the middle of December.
Oh.
And it's extremely positively reviewed with tens of thousands of reviews. So the worry when you see this kind of incredible pitch is you go, oh, do they also just make, early access garbage and they shit it out after having a good trailer? It's like, no, Craftopia has been out for over a year and a half now, and it's rated well, so Palworld actually might be super good.
Let's see if it's not too late to have your Raichu's NFT farming. Might not be too late to get it in there.
Did you see that clip of Jimmy Kimmel? What's it? No, not Jimmy Kimmel. What's the shitty guy from Fallon? I was about to say the shitty guy from SNL talking about his ape.
I didn't.
It's cringe.
He's
talking about his ape, and he pulls up the ape, and the crowd is like dead silent. Just dead silent. And then all of a sudden they all clap simultaneously. I'm like, oh, the sign went on, didn't it?
Maybe he should have pulled out his X-ray from the Bataclan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, you don't have this one, do you?
Got zero thoughts in my head about what you were saying to me right now.
Okay, well, do you remember a couple years ago when there was a shooting in a concert in Paris where people were murdered on the dance floor?
No.
Okay, well, that happened. There was a mass shooting in Paris a couple years ago.
I believe you.
Right. So, one of the survivors found out that her surgeon was selling the X-ray of the bullet inside of her as an NFT.
Oh, I did hear about this. I heard.
Oh, you heard? Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know what the fuck you were talking about with Bataclan.
Okay, that's the yeah. So, congrats! We've hit the lowest possible low, at the very least.
No, not yet.
We're at current bottom. The leaderboard has been topped. That is what I'm trying to say. It's like we're gonna have to find out where you go from here. But we've hit the fucking, we're scraping it at this point. The leaderboard has.
For you. Yo, this baby's birth certificate's an NFT. That means you owned a baby. That's not even your baby. You stole my baby. Yeah, well, it's the blockchain now.
But is that a theory or did that happen?
It's happening right now. I just said it, so somebody thought it was a good idea.
See, now the problem is I'm discussing stuff that has happened in the real world, and.
Oh, don't worry.
Okay.
I learned about Code Pink yesterday, which is like a nightmare. You familiar with Code Pink?
Is that a Mountain Dew flavor?
No, it's the ER code for there's a baby missing.
Jesus.
Because code Pink means all hospital doors become locked and suspicions start to go nuts. And if you're holding your real child, you may still be tackled by security because we got to find that baby.
Someone grabbed one. Okay. No, I have
Or a nurse just gave the wrong baby to the wrong person. That happens. Many babies are misplaced every year, given to the wrong parents, and that's weird.
I don't know where we're going, but I'll tell you one thing. Whatever you just said is less weird than watching Garland walk through Elysian Fields as Frank Sinatra plays behind him. What the fuck is happening in Stranger of Paradise?
They also confirmed today that Stranger of Paradise is
not an isekai.
It's not.
What is happening in this game? So now that with that news, because it's not an isekai, it means everything you're seeing is real and canon to the FF1 world.
Yeah, they basically just said that one of the countries that has like the country that has a sunken temple where you fight Kraken is just technologically advanced.
It has magic tech as well.
And his cell phone is from there.
There's cell phones. There's pop music. There's okay. Well, yeah. So that trailer dropped for the newest of FF Origin Stranger of Paradise, and I'm an outsider on this one, man.
There's a lot going on in that trailer. The game looks like it might actually be like stupidly incredible because now that I've played so much more of Neo since the time, this is Neo 3 straight up, that cuts out all the shit that I complained about in Neo, like all the extra garbage, and replaces it with like the FF job system.
Oh, the customization aspects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of that,
I like that stuff, but
people are looking at the trailer and they're looking at screenshots that got released, and this is going to be an anthology game for the entirety of Final Fantasy. So like they show off the sunken temple, right? Let me. God, can I find this screenshot? This is gonna be so difficult to explain.
Because the thing is that like I know precious little about a lot of this, and so I'm unable to catch a lot of the references that are clearly happening in this trailer.
The sunken... I'm not going to be able to find this in the time that I have. But basically, they show off the area that you're fighting the Kraken in.
Yep.
And it is the sunken temple from Final Fantasy 1, but really, let's be honest, it's a macro react. Found it! Found the photo. Here, Wolves, you can see it for yourself, or you can put it up on the screen if you like.
Okay, I see it.
So that is supposed to be the sunken temple from FF1.
Now, is that like just a visual similarity?
Yes, that is a visual similarity.
Okay.
They also showed off, I think, the Earth Temple, and it's the Tomb of Wraithwall from FF12. And so on and so forth. And people are picking screenshots apart. Basically, they're going to have areas that are FF1 areas that have been visually modeled to look like areas from later games.
So anthology,
so like
in this
anthology, like it will
homage a lot.
It will homage almost every game.
Okay. In that sense, yeah.
Yeah, so that is the sunken temple from FF1? Not really, right? That's clearly a Mako reactor.
What did you Google to get that?
You can even see the reactor down at the bottom.
It does look like the beginning, yeah. What did you Google to get that?
I typed in Stranger of Paradise and went and scrolled through the hashtags real fast.
Okay.
Here's another one that I can send you that people will probably recognize as the Tomb of Wraithwall from Final Fantasy 12.
At the same time, like it's just homage, right? It's
yeah.
So
there's one that looks like the Desert Palace in FF9, etc. Like it's like a the Final Fantasy happy, like, hey everybody, do you like Final Fantasy kind of game, but also with Limp Bizkit Jack Garland, man. I have to say, everyone figuring out immediately that he was Garland, and them just going, fuck it, everyone figured it out, change all the marketing.
Just straight up admit.
Bravo.
Yep.
Huge bravo. Excellent.
Now, if only that level of shall we say open-mindedness can apply to good old Italian Tifa. the most influential member of Italian politics currently. Yeah. This is a fucking wild in tone trailer.
Hold on a second.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there we go.
Boppa boopy or whatever.
Did you know that Lockhart is actually an anglicized for Locafughetti?
Wow.
It's true. Do you remember in Final Fantasy VII when they're arguing about the pollution in Midgar and Barrett is screaming that it's because of that fucking pizza that the people down here can't live their normal lives? Tifa's the one that told him that.
There you go.
Because she was working at the bar.
Yeah.
And she was trying to, she was not happy about the pollution situation. And she looked outside, and she looked at Barry and said, because of the fucking the pizza, I can't, no sun. She said that.
The true final heaven was just a good old plate of gabagool at the end of the day. That's the true final heaven right there, you know? So, yeah. I mean, credit to the internet for the speed at which it works when it is motivated, but the artwork and photoshops.
Yeah. So we should just break it down, the exact sequence of events.
Oh
right?
Yeah, sure. No, there was an Italian parliamentary meeting on Zoom, and then someone had a camera whose footage started playing Tifa 3D hentai, and a bunch of the Italian politicians got very upset at that. And
they were like, "Oh, no," like that. And that's it.
That's
now
it.
Tifa is Italian. She is the Senate.
I mean, the odds on that being the type of fucking porn that plays and not Overwatch hentai is crazy. Like, it's wild. Just
who cares about Overwatch?
Everyone, every single fucking site, apparently. You know, so yeah.
But yeah, no, Tifa's the symbol of Italy now.
True
and
hero.
she could be Italian.
She could be.
Like,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
Can we get a Italian dub? Can we? Okay, do you remember Dante Exterminados de los Demons?
Sure.
Okay, can we just get that, but just
FF7
Tifa?
Only on Tifa.
Just Tifa.
Oh yeah, we can get that.
So like, they're like, you know, oh, we gotta go take out the Mako reactor, and she's like, "Babidi boopy."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, do you guys? Y'all don't see the fucking every single ad on the internet is just some stupid Overwatch porn thing taken and fucking thrown up constantly everywhere all the time because that's all it is. That's all it has become.
I think
to Randy Pitchford's chagrin.
I think probably the weirdest thing about the Tifa Italian thing is that happened a week ago, right? I thought that would have burned out by the weekend. It has not.
No.
If anything, it is only picking up steam.
No, it has not. All right. What else is going on? There has been a announcement that Respawn's going to work on 3 new Star Wars games. Sure.
Wow, which one of them is not Titanfall?
All of them.
Oh, good.
Well, you know, I mean, I guess you're going to get Fallen Order stuff, right? That's basically what that to me, that's what I read that as, is Fallen Order franchise.
That's what it means.
And then yeah, last little thing here, you know, new character revealed for Guilty Gear, some newcomer called Baiken. Apparently. Yeah.
And once again, the time is upon us for people to say, I love Baiken, I will main her.
Oh, it's the best.
Only to be followed by that not happening.
It's the best now more than ever because, it's self-revealing because there's a whole genre of reaction tweet currently on the internet that exposes all of the frauds, and it's beautiful. It's chef's kiss because it's like anyone who's currently in the process of tweeting, oh my god, they gave her a gun, did not play Baiken and Exerd. Done. You didn't play her. You just, end of story. Like, if you're like, she got a gun? Yeah, she literally, Suzerain, dust. It's been there. You know, expose anybody who's saying that, who claims to fucking know or play the character. It's self-revealing. It's beautiful. You know?
It's great.
She has a gun! Yeah. Yeah, it's been there. It's one of her fucking dust things. You can, anyway. Yeah, no, she's changed, and she continues to be different in every version of her that shows up in games. And, you know, as I tweeted about it, but like I said, rip to the command run, rip to the parry stances, long live handcuffs, which is the new mechanic. She chains herself to you, and now she can do more combos because you can only get knocked back a certain distance.
That sounds filthy as shit.
Yeah, it's like because you're locked in, you're not flying away full screen.
That sucks. Get away from me. No. Right? No running away. Like, you're stuck in here. And it ends up reminding me a bit of Tager magnetism. Yeah.
Because, like, Tager, when he turns it on, it's a similar thing, you know? But in this case, like, you're not in a suck-in pose, like you're doing a whatever you are. And, like, every ability she has that would, like, knock you further back, you get better combos off of it. Because it's like you're kind of stuck in the corner almost, you know? So that seems fun. And they made Yozansen, which is her big air sweep, into no longer a DP input. So they're kind of basically making it easier to do right off the ground into an instant overhead.
What is it? What's the new input?
Oh, Hadoken. Quarter circle.
That means you could just Tiger Knee it.
You always could, but now it's even easier.
Well, I mean, you could, but like Tiger Kneeing the SRK is a little awkward.
It was yeah, so before you'd have to go forward, down, forward, up, forward. So basically, like, forward and then...
you Tiger Knee that for free.
Free, yeah.
Oh, that's as close as we're ever going to get to being able to do it on the ground.
But it's better than... I mean, because the way when you Tiger Knee it, right, it becomes an overhead. So...
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the biggest strength of it in like the previous versions.
It's really funny. Wooly, I've been talking to you for many years, and every time Baiken comes up, I literally have one question for you.
Can you Yozansen on the ground?
Can I do the Yozansen on the ground anymore? And you always go, no. This is way closer than usual.
Yeah, well, that's what that's what was really great about it beforehand. You gotta be on point to be able to get it. They also showed off the other thing that she's really that's really strong about her kit has always been air tatami gaishi, and specifically the air dashed version that kind of moves forward and arcs downwards. So Kirei tatami is what they call it, but essentially it's Baiken flying at you while she's dropping the tatami at the same time. You know, and like while you're waking up type of thing. And so in the footage of the breakdown, like they show you that, yeah, she's got that too. So yeah. It's it's looking good for Baiken Town. It's looking good. I miss the old stuff, but everyone got
fat tits.
They got even fatter. I don't know if that's true, but in my heart, I feel like they did.
It feels like it is.
Mm-hmm. And the poem got even longer at the beginning, so you know everything can just swell up, big swell in Baiken Town.
See, a lot of people think that she lost her arm in the war, but that's not what happened. Her body cannibalized her arm meats for more booba.
Redistributed, exactly.
Yeah, it's like how my head hair migrated to my face hair. It's like that.
Yep. Started as a Kenshin, now Booba. And quite frankly,
Yeah, there's a character attached to those boobas.
God bless. Like, I think we can leave the old thing a little bit, but I like the ruggedness. But yeah, no, Baiken's cool. So, happy to see what that's gonna mean for some of these ridiculous matchups. And I mean, shout outs to fucking Deb, who's just absolutely beasting with Happy Chaos on Twitter. You're seeing footage of Gunman doing gun thing, and Deb is just like making Happy Chaos look insanely broken, making Gunman look like Gunman. And I'm wondering how a lot of these matchups are going to play out when you're trying to not get shot constantly every second. So, yeah, good on that. Baiken's going to drop in about 3 or 4 days, so later this week for season pass holders, and 31st for individual DLC. Cool. I'm good with that. Let's take some letters.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you want to send a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Yeah. Oh, and she does have a counter now as well to kind of like sort of be a replacement for the parry. And you know, it's not quite the same as the old games where you do like alpha counters, because everyone can do that on with wires with the meter now. But it's a thing, you know. It's a parry. If it's depending on how fast it is, you can blow some people up and embarrass them. So it might be good. We'll see. Overall, though, I'm okay with the characters that I like changing, and things evolving. That's fine. castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. And you might get a letter. Like
you might.
This Coupardon says, "Hi, tall green and small red. I have a couple of friends who keep insisting that modding is inherently disrespectful towards game developers, and that if a game is great with mods but mediocre to bad as vanilla, it's not worth playing at all. One of them has a habit of pointing out that if a game requires external wikis or a cheat sheet, like most MMOs or roguelikes, to get the most out of it, then that's the sign of bad game design. What are your favorite ones that wouldn't be what they are without those efforts?" Well, that aside, that your friend's crazy, my friend.
Your friend's an idiot.
That's ridiculous, because it does suck when a game is like bad and then mods have to come along and make it better. But if the end result is fun, then it's fun. Who cares?
Hey, you guess what developers do when you show them that you added a feature to their game that makes it better? Oh, cool. I wish I had time to have implemented that.
Like, at the end of the day, you can stand on some weird, like, you know, ground of principle and say, like, oh, this game was never worth it because of its release date or whatever. Or you can just play what's fun. If someone makes a thing fun, then good.
So
hell, 1 second, just at the extremes, when someone mods a game into being funner than its original, yeah, that's how you get fucking Dota. That's how you get Counter-Strike. That's how you get Fortnite. That's how you get all of these fucking like huge games that are influencing the entire industry. They all come from fan-made modifications of another thing.
So take it from a person like me who, due to a bunch of bad ideas over my life and obsessive compulsive disorder and a bunch of dumb ways that I thought about things, I am the person who thought that an artist who is drawing something was transcribing a perfect image in their head onto a sheet of paper like a photocopy machine. Not necessarily line by line, horizontal to vertical, but they were just recreating the perfect image in their head. The idea that this gentleman seems to have is that a game or art is the platonic realization of the ideal work of art, and the artist's inspiration or goal or vision or whatever is sacrosanct and perfect and should be adhered to the maximum, and therefore by modifying this work of art, you are diluting that perfect artist vision. This idea is fucking stupid.
It's
particularly with video games, which are collaborative, like
efforts by a
100-person
team
efforts.
of people. Yes.
The vision is a starting point. It's an iterative process. People that make games that are perfectly suited to their original vision often make totally rigid, shitty games.
Well,
I think the best example that I can think of off the top of my head is Witcher 3 and the argument between the director and the lead gameplay designer about what the director's vision for Geralt's movement was to be in the game. He wanted Geralt to control like a horse, and this was his idea in his heart, and this was on the GDD, and that's how it was going to be, and he didn't care if other people liked it better. That's how it was. And the lead gameplay designer kept going, why don't we just make him control good and better? And then the game comes out, and there's only the original control scheme, and it is wildly reviled. Geralt controls like shit, and sure enough, one of the first patches comes out, alternate controls.
Yeah.
From the ideas that the man who would at that point be fired for arguing with the director so much.
Yeah. No, the funny thing
and
is
now
like
Geralt controls well. But before I leave off,
yeah.
that was a disagreement within the team that integrated what otherwise would be a mod. People on the team fight each other. They disagree. Sometimes good ideas get thrown away. There's no singular perfect vision.
Well, what I would like to ask this person's friend is name me a single game that you like, right? And I will show you the GDD for that game, which completely steers and veers off from what you got in many ways. And now the thing you like is departing from the vision that was originally put on paper in GDD form, right? Yeah. When it was designed, there's a ton of things that you cut on the way to the final. Tons. Is it compromised as of that state? You know? So yeah,
I have another explanation. Say somebody cooks you a soup. Gives you your soup. Yes. And you drink your soup and you're like, it's a little bland. And you will pull out some salt that happens to be on the table and go doot, 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 put a little salt in it. And you're like, oh, cool. Much better. And then I reach across the table and I pick up your soup and I throw it in your fucking face. How dare you?
How dare you?
You interfered with the integrity of that cooked soup. You bitch.
Now, what if it wasn't me, but if it was the waiter who came over and said, would you like some Parmesan?
And I would say, how could you, you fuck?
You beat that waiter to death, clearly. Even though they're part of the same establishment.
No, it's different.
Yeah. Have you ever installed a day one patch for any game you've ever played? How dare you? How dare you interrupt the vision?
I have the most ridiculous. Have you ever worn sunglasses?
Yes.
Because it was God's vision.
Oh
that
boy.
Your vision were to be horribly destroyed by sunlight.
Now we're getting into like just a whole other realm of
disrespectful to the Lord.
That's of a whole other realm of essentialist fucking insanity with the state of affairs and the default way things ought to be.
You know what? You know what that reminds me of, and this is way off topic. I was watching TikToks the other day, and I got my eyes checked a little while ago, and I have astigmatism, but I otherwise have 20/20 vision, right? So I'm going to eventually get glasses for the astigmatism because it can give me headaches. The eye doctor thought that that's where a lot of my migraines might come from. And I scroll down to this TikTok, and it's somebody recording a bunch of street lamps. And the vision of From Software that their game contained a remote code exploit in it, and that they are ruining that game
by taking it out right now. How dare you? I should be allowed to hack my friends' computers and take their credit card information, and you, it's not even worth it anymore now that I can't do that.
Total absurdity. It breaks down upon even the slightest examination.
The director's vision. Yeah. All right. Even
renowned directors who are obsessed with their vision change things due to the reality. Hideo Kojima and David Lynch, two of the most singularly visionary creators I can think of in their respective fields, right? Who do have a perfect image of what they want in their head, will still change things in their stuff if it doesn't work.
It's called the creative process. This is just the way it works. And anyway, so insanity fucking aside there. Whatever, fuck it. That was a good one. That was enough. That lasted. So, yeah, if you're watching this live, sorry, but fucking Twitch is acting up and there's nothing we can do about that. So, whatever. If you're an MP3, then all good. Nothing wrong. You're catching the full thing. Do you want to get to the bottom of that one? All right, here. We can you want to know, Pat needs to know if his body's fucked up in another way that he's never known about it.
I knew I had astigmatism. I just didn't realize that was caused by astigmatism.
Yeah, so there's a picture of car lights that are leaving trails, and it's like, does everyone see these trails all the time or not? And to me, the answer is I do. I see these trails sometimes, especially behind a windshield or something like that. I do not see them all the time.
I can see it off of lights in this room.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at the lights in front of me right now, and they're just self-contained shapes with the light. If you squint, if your eyes start to glaze over, if there's water.
I can get rid of them by squinting.
Yeah, so for me, it's like occasionally, if I'm squinting or if there's something in front of me or like, again, through a window is the best way to describe it, usually like a windshield. But
this human body thing sucks ass.
Yep. You got a worse case than you might think.
Darn. Man, I need to get my beard back as soon as I can, because I wear these headphones without the beard, and like this silhouette on the bald part is just so pronounced. It's so
I thought
clear.
That's what you were going for. I mean,
nah,
anyway.
man. Nah.
Hey, MP3 folks, you the real ones. You're trust me, it's for the best. You don't need to see any of this. All right? All right.